like the way you die, boy.
You want burgers, hot dogs, some chicken, and ribs. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
So,
Oh, I'm glad you did not go on for days about that.
oh, really? You didn't
Yeah.
want me to sing at this one either?
No, I don't want
No?
you to sing at any of
Have
them.
you not been enjoying my lovely singing
No.
voice?
Nope.
I think I sing great. I think I sing like an angel.
I'm done talking to you.
An angel from hell. No, no, but welcome to Night of the Horror File, a horror movie podcast where I take a horror movie or genre film and show it to my beautiful wife, Brittany, who then gives us her input or her hatred, which I think next week you guys are going to get that in full force, and we'll discuss at the end of this episode what we'll be watching next week. But
I have a lot of opinions, okay?
that's okay. I think that's perfectly fine. I think the thing is about next week's film is it's something so far out of your comfort zone. It's something that, yeah, it's way out there, man.
I would rather experience the day I experienced today than watch that movie again.
Oh, God. Oh, that's pretty bad.
And I had a pretty bad day.
That's pretty bad. I think that's like... that's pretty fucking bad. But this week we are continuing our little mini series over Quentin Tarantino, just kind of wrapping up Tarantino Christmas last month, which this month is a Tarantino New Year unofficially.
Right.
Not that we'll be covering any Tarantino-ness after today's episode, really. We're just going to be covering movies that influence his favorite movies, some of his top favorite movies, but less Tarantino during those episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we're probably going to say everything we need to say.
Yeah, well, definitely.
Well,
definitely. I think
so.
we're almost out of things to say. There's not much to do here.
Okay.
Like, I mean, you're talking about a career of 10 films, really. Like,
right.
And the person himself is more the draw there, like the person.
Well, that's why we're doing this.
Yeah, especially like
this is why we're in part 2. Okay?
Well, that too, and I've noticed something by doing Tarantino and stuff, doing something way out of our comfort zone, which typically we do horror films or horror.
Yeah,
it's in the title, but. Is I feel like you're starting to get more of an appreciation for film in general.
Oh, gross. I knew you were going to say that.
Have you learned by now that like nothing can just be a singular form of entertainment?
Why can't I
it has to have like a deep fucking fandom. Like, have you ever noticed that?
Yes.
Everything.
Why?
Everything.
Why can't we just watch a movie and move on with our lives? And be like, hey, that was a good movie, or hey, that was a shitty movie.
I mean,
and then
why
move
can't
on.
people just look at pretty pictures and move on?
They can.
There's a whole thing where people love art and stuff like that. I think,
That's annoying.
Movies are another form of art. Movies, no matter how stupid, are another form of art, and it is subjective.
It is
subjective, which is fine.
I just don't care.
I
Oh
know,
my God.
I
If you
know.
guys haven't realized, I just don't care. And even my favorite movies, okay? My favorite movies in the world, I just don't care. Don't go into it with me. Like, I'm fucking watching movies that I've seen a million times and you're like looking up information about them. I'm like, I don't fucking care.
I guess that's what separates me and like a Tarantino, like he does this even more than I could ever dream. First of all, he's older than me, so I would assume, but like he obsessed over every single bit of things. He's like an encyclopedia of film knowledge.
I don't care who the third makeup artist is from the left. Like, I don't give a shit.
I do. I care about all that shit, all that stupid stuff. Yeah, I care about all that stupid shit, which is funny because like you married someone that is the complete opposite of you, which I guess technically everybody's got their things. Everybody.
Right.
Some people got football. You know, I feel like you lucked out. At least I have movies. Like I have something tangibly cool, you know?
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah, something that is kind of cool, like creative and stuff, and not just dudes getting concussions. Like,
Dudes getting touching each other's butts. And all
yeah. I mean, I do that in my free time, but
okay.
but anyway, I've been enjoying these past things, just talking about film in general, not just horror movies. I think as horror fans, and I say this a lot, but as horror fans, we really need to learn to step outside of our genre, you know, and appreciate all the other works in film that there are. There's so many good movies you're probably missing out on by, you know, doing the whole music method where it's like one genre for anything I do. You know?
Right.
Like, no, you're missing out on so many other very thick pieces of work that and you might find something new. That's the thing. I think one of the biggest reasons, and I probably said this last episode, but I'll repeat it here, but one of the biggest reasons I really love Tarantino is because every fucking single time I watch a new interview, he mentions something else. He mentions a new movie like that I haven't seen before.
Right.
Like he mentions like this old classic film that only he fucking knows about. And like, I'm like, oh, let me look that up. And every time I fucking find a new like fave, you know, like a new movie, I'm like, ooh, this is so good. You know, I think I appreciate his aspect of that more than like some of the other directors that I have. Not saying, I'm definitely not saying Quentin Tarantino is my favorite director of all time. I really don't have one. You know, I'd say I have probably a list of 10 that I'm not going to go over here because I can't think.
You keep saying that. Yeah.
I'll eventually do something like that. Maybe we'll do that on Shooting the Shit. But like I have like maybe a list of 10 directors, but he is on there mainly because of that. You know, not just because I enjoy the hell out of it, every one of his movies. I think each one of his movies has been a banger.
Right. Right.
You know, unlike other directors, you know, like some of my favorite directors, some of their movies I just absolutely don't like. You know, I'm not one to say, well, everything they turn in is solid gold. I'm like, no.
And you've even said that about Tarantino.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like Death Proof wasn't his best movie. It was a good movie. Yeah.
Oh, it's a great movie. I love Death Proof, but no, it's not his best. I think, you know, I really do feel like that's just Tarantino having fun.
Right.
Yeah, which is fine. I still think Death Proof is a phenomenal movie, but at the same time, if you were going to pinpoint a bad movie, a bad Tarantino movie, I'd say you'd go with that one.
Right.
People would argue, and we'll talk about it when we get to this movie here in a little bit. People would argue that The Hateful Eight is his worst, but I don't really share those sympathies. But
okay.
See, we're getting into some film discussion. I think the second part is definitely going to be more film discussion and less like biography. So if you guys were a little bit more bored about last week's episode, you know, maybe that was a lot more just info dump than you really wanted. I think this one's going to be more conversation, so you might enjoy this part a little bit better, because not only are we going to be conversating about Tarantino, we're going to be conversating about movies in general. It's going to be a good time.
Okay.
So anyway, last week we covered an intro into the films and early life of director Quentin Tarantino. And this week we start just as Tarantino is coming off of his groundbreaking hit Pulp Fiction. We also discussed a few of Tarantino's projects in between Pulp Fiction and today's starting point. You know, we talked about Four Rooms, the anthology picture, and we also discussed From Dusk Till Dawn, which which I think, you know, I kind of went into it a little bit, but that was my first taste of Tarantino, even though he just wrote the movie.
Me too.
Yeah. It's very interesting that we kind of share that commonality.
Right.
Like, what was it about, like, just base level? What was it about From Dusk Till Dawn that kind of hooked you in? Not saying that it turned you into a Tarantino fan or anything.
No, it definitely didn't. You know, those fucking action scenes were fucking bomb. Dude,
and they're so small scale. I think that's another thing that that you can really credit Tarantino with writing those kind of action scenes.
But he didn't. Did he write From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah, he wrote that.
Oh, okay.
Remember, Robert, it was kind of a blurb. We kind of didn't spend much time on it. But Robert Kurtzman hired him.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But he writes, and in his movies in general, since you've seen some of his movies, the action scenes in those are pretty, they're not as like well, I mean, you compare them to today's action movies, which are all just these big CGI fests, which are fine in their own right, but they're like bloated and kind of big, like theatrical productions. Whereas, his are more like these nuanced things, which I think From Dusk Till Dawn really does showcase that. And
because they like kidnapped that fucking bank teller and shit. Like, I don't know. It was just.
I mean, take the first few minutes of From Dusk Till Dawn. That scene at what's his name? World of Liquors.
I don't remember.
I can't remember right now off the top of my head. Go see our episode on that. But just the first few minutes of From Dusk Till Dawn are so fucking tense and action filled. Yeah. And it's on a small scale. Like, it's really not much to it.
But it hooks you in, man.
Yeah, and I think Robert Rodriguez is the perfect director to do that,
Oh, yeah.
If I wanted someone directing Quentin Tarantino's work, it'd be Robert Rodriguez, even though Tony Scott does a great job. Oliver Stone kind of in a lesser sense, since that's not even Tarantino's real story that's on that movie. Natural Born Killers.
Oh, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Good movie, by the way. If you thought I was bad mouthing it last episode, don't get that. That's the wrong the process to go through. It's a very good movie for what it is, but it is definitely an Oliver Stone film.
Right.
And we kind of touched on that too, where Quentin Tarantino got pretty mad about it. He tried to disown it. He tried to get his name taken off of any of that.
Oh, wow.
But they wouldn't let him. To the point where he punched a dude.
Oh, damn.
But anyway, we covered in December, we covered a bunch of these movies that we're going to touch today.
Okay.
So we're not going to go too deep into the movies.
Okay.
We're going to be talking, like I said, it's going to be conversation this time.
Right. Talking
about movies in general, but we're not going to go too deep into any of these movies, especially since some of them we're going to cover at a later time.
Right.
So let's talk a few things that got Tarantino in the right headspace for his first and only adaptation, Jackie Brown. So a good place to start is Tarantino's first exposure to blaxploitation. Now, aside from me, have you ever really known about the blaxploitation films?
I haven't even heard of that.
Well, blaxploitation in a sense is kind of, I don't know if it's a term that gets used in film, but it was like, they were a source of kind of highlighting some problematic stereotypes of the black community and stuff like that. So they were a source of that. So don't come after me when I say that I do love the blaxploitation films of like the 70s through 1974.
Right.
Where you had, Shaft, Jackie or Foxy Brown, you had, fucking Black Mama, White Mama and stuff, Black Gun, which we'll get to that here in a second. But you had all these awesome movies come out, and like I said, watching them as a kid, that's when I was first exposed to them, which maybe I shouldn't have been, because I went back
it's
and
not
I was
very
like, wow, some of these are really terrible. Like Superfly. Like, I remember that movie. I was rooting for Superfly the entire time. You're like, oh, he's a drug addicted pimp. Maybe he's not the hero. Yeah. Now Shaft, though, Shaft's clean. He's just a bad mother. Those movies to me were just fun films when I was younger. So like, if some of you don't look at these in a very touching, like, loving manner, like the same as I do and the same as Quentin Tarantino does, I'm sorry, but that's just how the cookie crumbles on that situation.
Right.
But I've repeated a lot, but it's true. Jackie Brown is not a blaxploitation film. It is not. It absolutely is not. We've never covered blaxploitation, so it's kind of hard for me to really
explain.
Yeah, get you into this until we do cover one, which we will at some point. I just haven't decided when.
And you told me that the Candyman is not?
No, Candyman is absolutely not a blaxploitation film.
Okay.
You haven't seen a blaxploitation film. It's really hard, like I said, because you've not seen it. That's one of the things that's kind of fun about this show, is that Brittany comes at all these things fresh.
Right.
But when you run into stuff like this, where I'm talking about blaxploitation films and stuff, she's never seen a lick of them.
Yeah.
So it's a little difficult for her to
get on board,
which it's fine. It's fine. Just know, like, just think about it like this. An exploitation film, you know what an exploitation film is. Like Spit on Your Grave.
Okay.
Exploitation. You could it's a black exploitation film. Black exploitation.
I kind of understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jackie Brown is not that.
No.
Okay.
Jackie Brown's just Jackie Brown. It is what it is. It's its own thing. It does contain a shitload of nods to that.
Right.
You know? Jackie Brown, I would say, has the same kind of swagger that a blaxploitation film has, you know, and he really does in that movie. He really does kind of tackle, which we didn't really talk about it much on our episode, but that movie does kind of tackle the patriarchy of a blaxploitation film and stuff like that. It really tackles the masculinity and stuff and all those kind of things. And but it is just loaded with nods to these old movies,
right?
And stuff. Now one of his earliest memories, Tarantino, is he remembers when his mom and whoever she was dating at the time, you know, went out to see Sweetback's Badass Song.
That's a title.
The Melvin Van Peebles film, which, by the way, if you haven't seen that movie, I can't find it on DVD or Blu-ray for fucking affordable price at the moment, but it is an excellent movie, even though it's kind of hard to follow. Because it's just an old movie and he shot it on such a, you know, Melvin Van Peebles shot it on such a low fucking budget.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's such a good movie. It's a revenge film, basically.
Nice. I like those.
Yeah. Well, you know, he comes back. They come back and they tell him what they saw. And he's saying, well, because he's been seeing it advertised as Sweetback, you know. And she's like, no, it's Sweetback's Badass Song. Like, and he's like, man, that's such a cool fucking, you know, like when you're a little kid, you hear something like that. That sounds like a cool fucking movie.
Right.
So he couldn't go, obviously, but he did remember watching Johnny Carson one night. He didn't really get to go to these movies because where he was living at the time, where the fuck was he living? But where was he was living? He was in a black community.
Right.
Where he was living and where he was centralized. And a lot of theaters around there weren't showing these movies. So he didn't get to go as much as he would like to. But he was watching Johnny Carson one night. And Johnny had Richard Roundtree on. And Johnny kept talking about how Shaft was a wild, wild film. Like, oh, it's so wild and stuff like that. And which struck Tarantino as odd because I think he had seen Shaft, but he was like, what's so wild about Shaft? Is it because he's a black man? Like, that's all he could figure out because there's really there really isn't a difference between Shaft and like one of the cops in another movie. Right. It's just Shaft is black and he has a cool style about him. By the way, that style, the Shaft style, the turtleneck and the fucking leather coat, that has not gone out of style. Like, are you sure? I still see Idris Elba sporting that shit. Idris Elba would play an awesome Shaft if they recast again.
I could see, I mean, honestly, I could see Idris Elba's Shaft.
I think we would all enjoy Idris Elba's Shaft. I mean, although I gotta say, Samuel L. Jackson as Shaft in those two movies, it's so good.
Oh, you're right. This hasn't gone out of style at all.
No. He's got like a timeless style.
I had to like look at it. I was like,
yeah. He's damn good looking, right? Richard Roundtree there, but he, you know, it struck him as odd. Like, what's so fucking wild about a black man being a hero, basically?
Right.
Like, to him, that was kind of weird. And but you know, a lot of films that were exploding during the times, like I said, were not in the theaters near him, but his mom was dating at the time.
Okay.
You know, and she was dating, I think she dated a black guy at one point. I don't know this guy's name. But he decided, you know, he was trying to impress Tarantino. You know, he got him a football, packed him up in the car, was like, we're going to see a movie. You know, he was going to take him to see a movie, impress mom's, you know, son. You know?
Right.
He's got to get him out there. So he takes him to downtown LA to catch a movie. Now, keep in mind at the time, you know, he's driving Tarantino up and down the strip where there's like 9 theaters all playing a blaxploitation flick.
Nice.
At the time, maybe, or it may have been like all blaxploitation and a kung fu movie. Like, you know, that's the time, which that would have been so sweet. To fucking just cruise and watch all these fucking movies. Yeah. That's one of the things that a lot of people get surprised about me is because I'm with you all on the whole 80s being the decade or whatever for movies and stuff like that. You hear about that a lot. People are kind of stuck in the 80s. To me, I would have loved to live in that midpoint of 65 on through like 79. You know, I just think that would be amazing to live during that time.
Yeah, you really like that time.
Yeah,
dude.
for the arts.
You talk about it a lot.
Yeah, for the arts, not so much the the fucking gas crisis and all that shit.
Right.
You know, for the arts and stuff, I think it was just a wonderful time. But, you know, so they ended up deciding to see a film called Black Gun with Jim Brown, Martin Landau was in that movie. This great movie. It was playing double billed with The Bus Is Coming, which is not so great of a movie. But he's in the theater and he was like, what really struck him was like everybody sitting there talking through The Bus Is Coming and stuff. You know, people are just yelling and talking and having conversations through this fucking shitty movie. When all of a sudden Black Gun starts. And he said, and everybody shut the fuck up, you know, when Black Gun came on the screen, you know.
Oh, shit.
And to give you an idea, Jim Brown plays a kind of a Shaft type character, just in general attitude.
Okay.
And stuff like that. But like, but yeah, so like he said, it was so cool to him, the audience participation and stuff. And that's one thing Tarantino has said about theaters, because you hear about a lot of these older directors and stuff like that. Tarantino's not the oldest of them, but they're all saying, oh, you have to go to the theater. That's the only way to see my movies.
Right,
like
right.
Tarantino subscribes to that a little bit.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
But he also doesn't like media.
That's true.
So I can see that.
And plus, and I say a little bit because he's also said, you know, some of my favorite movies of all time I saw on television. He was like, so he doesn't necessarily subscribe to the whole, that's the way it's meant to be seen and stuff like that. But he did say the reason to go to the theater is for the communal experience, you know?
Yeah.
Because when you're in a theater, and these are kind of, I'm paraphrasing his words actually. So you guys don't think I'm coming up with anything deep on my own here. But when you go to a theater, you know, you're a part of something at that point. You know, you're not just at home sitting in front of your TV watching the movie.
Right. It's a group of people there to do the same thing.
Yeah. So now you're part of something. You're part of a collective.
Right.
You know, which is the audience. And he said that's one of the reasons to go. You know, some movies do feel so much better with a crowd. You know, which I can't tell you the last time I've had a movie like that.
I was going to say maybe not modern movies, but definitely like the only thing I can think of off the top of my head is like Rocky Horror.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. There's a perfect example for you. You know, Rocky Horror is a good movie. It's fun to watch, but so much fun to watch with other people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, even if you're just watching in your living room with 5 other people, it's so much better as a communal experience than it is a singular
I'm
film.
not putting it on at home like
no.
just hanging out by myself. That's weird.
No. A lot of people don't. Like,
right.
That's the thing about that kind of movie. And a perfect example, by the way. You did a good job there.
I know.
But, you know, a lot of movies are like that, like Independence Day. That's the earliest movie that came to the top of my head.
Really?
Or not earliest, but one of the biggest ones. I think Independence Day sucks when I watch it at home. It doesn't have the same oomph. But when I was sitting in my seat in the theater watching Independence Day with a bunch of other people, and everybody's cheering, and when fucking Randy Quaid fucking I'm back and like blows up the mothership, that's a killer. Everybody cheers and shit like that, you know?
Right.
It's stuff like that. And maybe some of these Marvel movies are the same way. I don't know. I don't go to them. There's too many for me to for me to be paying that much money. But anyway, so he's at a young age, you know, he's seen the communal experience happening, especially with blaxploitation, you know, and you have a black audience having a hero.
Right, which is amazing.
Yeah, and that's something he would go on to take and do in Django Unchained. You know,
right.
That's something he took from that. So you can see like blaxploitation had a heavy influence on him as a young kid, you know, and combine that with a writer he had already loved, and you know, Elmore Leonard, and Tarantino brought us Jackie Brown in 1997. Now, Jackie Brown, even during our episode on the film, always felt like Tarantino took a chill pill.
Right.
You know, we talked about this there. It's just a cool movie. It's a cool feeling movie, but it doesn't have that shock value that a lot of his films have.
Right, because it wasn't necessary.
No, it wasn't necessary. It was just pure cool Tarantino. Like, so we're chilling. And it felt more, we mentioned this, I think. It felt more mature than
I do
later
agree.
movies, And when he leans off the gas a little bit, I think is when like he really starts to shine a little bit more.
Yes.
Not saying I would change the way he does his movies, but when he does let the gas off a little bit, that's when I'm like, whoa,
Right.
This is really fucking good, you guys.
Because there's not a lot of pressure, so you can relax and make that good dialogue heavy movie that he likes to make, but still make a good movie that way.
Right. And you get characters. I think that's one of
Right.
the things I could say about a Tarantino movie when you compare it to everyone else's movies now. You get characters that are memorable. When's the last time you watched a movie where you remembered every single fucking character, no matter how small? Like,
Oh, Jesus, not me.
Like, think of Pulp Fiction. Every one of those characters you could sit there and remember.
Right.
Even the two like rapists in the fucking the pawn shop. You remember those guys. Like, his characters are so thick. And I think that comes from like movies like Black Gun and stuff like that. If you watch those kind of movies, the blaxploitation movies, every single character is so fucking colorful and like memorable and stuff like that.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, exploitation movies do that. You know, I think over a lot of other movies, they really do that. I mean, because what else? They didn't have a lot to work with.
Right.
So if you created a memorable character, then you had a hook. I feel, this is my reading.
I
on some
do
of these
agree
movies.
with that because it's like, I don't know Shaft. I've never seen Shaft or anything like that. I don't even know what it's about. You said something about a cop and I was like, oh, it's a cop movie. Okay, cool. That's neat. I never knew that. But have I heard the name Shaft before? Yes. Have I heard he was fucking awesome before? Yes. And not just from you, from other people.
Yeah, Shaft's badass. I'm looking at all 3 Shaft movies on my shelf right now.
You're just looking at those shafts.
Just looking at Shaft all night. No, like I think it's crazy nowadays, though. I don't hear a lot of love for these blaxploitation movies as much as I did growing up. And maybe that's just the house I was raised in.
Right.
Because like the first blaxploitation movie I ever saw was Shaft. That's why that sticks out much more than the other ones. And I think after that, it was like Foxy Brown and stuff like that.
Right.
But I think, like I said, if you do go and watch those movies, you'll definitely see where Jackie Brown does pull from and stuff and throw these nods out. But it itself is not,
So what is it listed as? A drama?
Jackie Brown?
Yeah.
I've noticed they always have a kind of a hard time labeling Tarantino films.
Yeah.
A lot of it is black comedy.
Okay.
And again, remember we said, I explained to you, black comedy is dark comedy. I think people use dark comedy nowadays.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Because it confuses people because I think I'm talking about a black centric comedy. It's not the
I think
the race.
of Medea when you say that.
Yeah. A lot of people, I confuse a lot of people that way because I think it's an outdated term.
Okay.
Not that it's offensive. I just think it's an outdated term. I think we use dark comedy nowadays. But like dark comedy, you'll get crime. That's one of the biggest things.
Oh, I guess it would kind of be crime.
Yeah, it's labeled crime and stuff like that. One thing I don't think he's ever really done, though, even though, yes, most of these movies that he's done have gangsters in it, but he's never done a gangster movie. You know, like Goodfellas or Casino or anything like that. He's never done something like that, which would be interesting to see him tackle. But
maybe coming up, maybe his 10th movie.
Yeah, maybe. Now, behind the scenes a bit, Tarantino actually had a bit of time for a love life during all these movie making things. Here's something that we hadn't talked on yet. Yes, Tarantino's dating life. I'm sure you really wanted to know that.
Oh, yes.
Okay, shortly after the release of Reservoir Dogs, he actually dated comedian Margaret Cho.
Okay.
Yeah, now they connected over Tarantino's love for movies, which is the one thing I hear over and over again about people who date him. It's because of the movies. You know, Cho said that he had over 8,000 VHS tapes at the time,
Holy
which she was
shit.
like, that was reason enough for me to hang out with him.
Right.
I mean, I've made friends that way. You know, by going to their house and they're like, hey, you want to watch a movie? It's like, oh, yeah, I love movies. And it's like, well, what do you got? What are you working with? And they open a fucking door to a room full of movies. I'm like,
Oh, it's heaven in here.
do I get to pick? It's like, so if you
and
ever
then you're
want to
in there
me,
for 10
Yeah,
hours
yeah.
trying to pick a fucking movie.
Yes. I took our son to Vintage Stock today, which is my favorite video store. It's the only technical video store that's left anymore. But I took him there and I was browsing. He was getting so mad.
Yes.
He was like, I want to go. It's like, hang on, I'm browsing. Look for a movie. I don't want a movie. I want to go.
He's like, I just got all the Spider-Man movies
I know.
for Christmas.
I was like, okay, we're leaving.
How dare you subject the 4-year-old to that?
I know. You know, that's a great way to win people over. Like if you connect with other film buffs and stuff like that, you literally have a room full of conversation. You know what I mean? Like you could, like, if I was dating another film buff or I was friends with another film buff, we could literally spend hours just going through my collection talking about movies.
Right.
And there you go. You have a built-in conversation
And if
starter.
you don't want to have the conversation about it, don't bring it up.
No,
Don't do it.
That's the thing with me. Don't bring up movies because we'll be on them for a long time. We'll be discussing them. I don't claim to know everything about movies. I'm too young, but like
The ones you have, though.
yeah, there's a lot I know about these things.
Right.
Like
Don't go into it. Don't start. You said like you were going to go
Yeah.
into it. No, don't do that.
I'm not. I'm taking a step back. But now next he actually ended up dating Kathy Griffin, and this is during the time.
Ew.
What's your thinking about Kathy Griffin? I'm neutral about Kathy Griffin.
She's so annoying.
Do you think so?
Her voice is annoying. Her face is annoying. I don't know. I just don't like her.
I'm not the biggest Kathy Griffin fan. Like but I'm kind of middle road with her. Like she's okay. The first thing I ever saw her in was that Eminem video, The Real Slim Shady. She plays a nurse in that video.
Oh, yes, I remember that now.
Yeah, for the longest time I didn't know her name when I was younger, and I just kept calling her the Eminem video lady until I realized, oh, she's actually an accomplished comedian. Which that's how Tarantino met her. He met her through I think it was the Groundlings. He would hang out and watch their comedy performances and stuff. I think it was the Groundlings. I might be wrong. Somebody will correct me at some point.
You asked that like I knew.
Hey, you know about the Groundlings, right?
No, I don't know what that is.
Which, you know, I think we talked about that's where he met Phil Lamar, and that's why Phil Lamar is in Pulp Fiction and stuff like that, you know, because of that troupe. And they were dating at the time of Pulp Fiction, him and Kathy Griffin. She said that like one of the best memories she has spending time with him was on the set.
Oh, yeah. I bet that was cool as fuck.
Yeah, which is great. Tarantino on set, he's all business. He is, because he's trying to make a movie here.
Yeah.
But which, by the way, one of his rules is no cell phones. Absolutely no cell phones on the set. Even crew members are not allowed to have their cell phones. If somebody does, if a cell phone rings.
Does he kick them out?
No, he makes them turn in the cell phone and then he singles them out. Just makes fun of them the whole time.
My gosh. Heaven forbid something goes wrong. He's like, yep, your fault.
Well,
you had a cell phone.
I mean, come on. You're trying to make a fucking, in a lot of his movies now, especially, you fucking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood cost $95 million to make.
Oh, that's true.
You're working on a $95 million movie. Maybe turn off the phone.
We're not slacking around.
Yeah,
here.
let's not have the cell phones out. So I kind of see what what he means by that, because he himself is not a big cell phone user. You know, he's not a big social media person. Like, you don't see him on social media at all. Tarantino isn't getting in squabbles over like the latest election or something like that.
Thank God.
Which sometimes kind of works against him. One of the controversies he has was when the defund the police and stuff was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he mentioned something where they turned his words around, where basically they tried to make it out like he was saying all the cops should be murdered. And
the fuck?
it's not really what he was saying. It's not what he meant. But, you know, he's not without his controversy because he's one of these guys that shoots first and kind of asks questions later.
Right.
You know, as we saw with the N-word controversy we talked about in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I think it was that. No, was it? It was Jackie Brown. We talked about that.
Yes, we talked about that in Jackie Brown, because you had said that more people were mad when it was said in Jackie Brown than they were when it was said in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, which in Pulp Fiction, I think it said more of a slur than it is in any other fucking movie.
I agree.
I mean, until you get the Django Unchained, which has the most utterance of fucking the N-word in all his movies.
But also, it wasn't a slur then.
Well, exactly. It's the time frame.
Right.
I mean, Django Unchained takes place pre-Civil War. I'm sorry, white people were calling people N-words all the time.
Right. And it wasn't really a slur then. It was a name. I don't know.
It was an accepted form of the English language. That was the issue.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Django when we get there, but he really did do something with that where I think what people really got uncomfortable with was kind of showing the horrors of America's past and not in a kind light.
Well, yeah.
Because it's not.
Right, exactly.
It's not good.
So he told the truth?
Yeah, he kind of told the truth in his own way. You know, he made it more exploitated. And so, like, when you do that, it shocks people into conversation, which I think is the way to go.
Isn't that his whole goal in life?
Well, that's his point. That was his point with that movie. He said people are talking about this now.
Right.
People are talking about slavery. They're not before my movie came out, but now they are. So, not saying that the conversation wouldn't pop up without Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is not God, but like it did. I remember a lot of the conversation starting over that. I remember my first taste of like really what the N-word meant was when I watched Pulp Fiction, like for the first time, and especially during the Jimmy commentary, or the dead N-word storage. You know, like that was played as a joke, and I'm like, what's the N-word? Like, and that's something my family had to sit down and talk to me about. Like, what's the N-word?
Whoa, wait a second.
Yeah, which I think movies are at their greatest when they do cause some stirring and make you question things and start some conversations.
Yeah.
I think that's what art should do.
Right.
I think that's when art is at its best. But anyway, moving on from Kathy Griffin. Like I said, a lot of conversation, you guys. We're going to have a lot of conversation. But I kind of lost my train of thought. But back on Kathy Griffin. They dated for a while. And then in 98, he actually dated Mira Sorvino, actress. You know her
I was
from,
like, I don't know.
You do know her. You know her from Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. Not... what's her name?
Yeah, not what's her name.
Yeah, from Friends.
Right, but the other one.
Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah.
Not Lisa Kudrow.
Not Lisa Kudrow. He dated not Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah, he dated not Lisa Kudrow. Mira Sorvino had a big... She was huge at the time, too. So I'm not going to go into her whole career here. But she was huge at the time, too. So it was kind of a big deal that they were dating in 98. Which
she's way too hot for him.
She is very hot.
I'm sorry.
There is a few people that you look at his wife now. He's married to an Israeli singer and performer, and she's whoa.
Really? I'm gonna have to look her up.
Yeah, you'll have to look her up. It's just like, whoa, dude. Good for you. Good for you, Tarantino. But anyway, like I said, today he's married to Israeli singer Daniela Pick. She's daughter of another Israeli musician. And they just had a kid together, by the way.
They just have the one, right? Okay. For some reason, I was thinking he had twins. I don't know where that came from in my brain.
No,
but...
no, he's only got the one kid, which he's talked about on several interviews I've heard him say, which I love him talking about his kid because he was talking about how, like, you know, he can't wait for his kid to get older so he can share some of these movies with him. Right. He's like, right now, it's kind of stupid to try to sit him down and try to get him to watch like The Magnificent Seven or something like that. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, she's way too hot for him. What is that? I don't like his mouth. I'm sorry.
He's not the most handsome man in the world. I don't think he has to be, though.
No, he doesn't have to be. Did he buy her?
No. If you listen,
I know that sounds terrible.
I think the thing is, with Tarantino, for what he doesn't make up for in the looks department, he has with personality.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to
No,
say.
he's got a big Johnson. He might actually. I don't know. But I think what he makes up for that, he makes up in personality.
Right.
And maybe that's just me talking because I don't know. I can listen to him talk forever. Because he just goes on these tangents about movies and he's so excited about them. I don't know. It's like
Imagine his wife is like me and she's like, fuck movies.
Could you imagine that? I can imagine him like in the middle of the night, just like, you know who looks like Steve motherfucking McQueen? That guy from Homeland. We're getting him in the next picture. Quentin, I want to go to bed. No. I'm going to get my picture album out. I'm going to show you. He looks exactly like Steve fucking McQueen. It's almost the morning. No.
We must do this now.
We got to do this. But
you, if you had millions of dollars.
Yes, that would be me just talking about movies 24/7. I kind of do it now, but I don't have the money to do it all the time. But he was talking about like they're sitting his kid down when he gets of age and showing him all these movies. You know, he can't very well sit down like a 1-year-old and show him like The Magnificent Seven or something. That's not going to compute. But he was talking about like kind of watching these movies. He was like, what's really great is he was like, what's sucks about seeing everything is that everything's lost its shine, you know, which I understand that, you know, none of these movies I have on my shelves that I could pop in and it'd be fresh or anything. But he said, what's great is watching stuff through his son's eyes. He was like, that's going to be cool. Cause he was like, I turned on, you know, he watches these short little things on Netflix. He said his kid does. He was like, he's like, I think they're dumb, but he seems to enjoy it. So, so he turns it on. He was like, and most of the time it's like the same episode of something over and over again, just cause it's familiar and it makes him happy. But he said one day I was like, well, let's turn on something a little different. Like let's get something a little less annoying. And he turned on, Despicable Me, you know, with the minions and stuff. And he turned that on and he was like watching him react to, cause he was like in Despicable Me, there are big action scenes. Yeah. And he's like, and watching my son just mesmerized by these giant explosions and stuff. He was like, it was wonderful. It was like watching a movie again, like for the first time, which I agree. Like watching, you know, our son watch like a few of these movies for the first time. Like, it's like, oh, this is so much fun.
Especially the movies that you liked as a kid.
Yes.
And him liking them.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we have conversations. Like a little movie buddy. It's wonderful. Like talking about Chucky. Like for the longest time, he did not want to go near the Chucky movies. Here's the thing I have about horror movies with the kids. I will not force them to watch anything.
Well, of course not.
That they're not comfortable with forcing. That's traumatic. So, but he finally broke down. He was like, you know, he wanted to watch the Child's Play movies. You know, he was ready to watch Chucky. And, you know, when you turn it on, with the stuff he's seen and stuff, immediately he's like, oh, this is not scary.
He's like, wait.
He loves it. He's like, oh, this is funny. He's laughing and stuff. He's having a good time. But, you know, that's the same kind of reaction I had when I was younger.
Right.
I wasn't specifically scared of Chucky, but he did kind of freak me out a little bit. But think about what we had back then and what he has. You know, he has more exposure to other scary stuff like on YouTube. Right. Those video game guys not playing.
Oh, punch them in their throat.
That's some scary shit.
Right.
But no, it's just a joy to see that kind of stuff. Now, after 97, Tarantino took a break from directing films. He actually took a 6-year break, which is a big gap.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it's a huge gap considering he popped out of the fucking woodwork with Reservoir Dogs. You know, he burst onto the scene with that. And then that was in 92. And then bam, he makes Pulp Fiction in 94. And in between Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown and stuff like that, you have these other movies like From Dusk Till Dawn. You have True Romance. You have fucking Natural Born Killers. So he's everywhere. And then, you know, after that, he takes a 6-year break. So then it's kind of a weird slump, you know, there.
Right.
Which is fine because... You know, he actually he had his major Broadway stage debut as a psychotic killer in the revival of the 1966 play Wait Until Dark.
On Broadway?
On Broadway, yeah.
That's cool.
It received mostly bad reviews.
Oh.
Wait Until Dark is not a great play. It's good. It's not great considering what people usually go to Broadway to watch. You know, it's not.
Then I'm
really,
surprised that it would even be on Broadway.
well, it was his star power. You know, like you
Oh.
put Tarantino up in the credits after all this success and stuff, you're going to get somewhere, which
Right.
we'll talk about this in a minute. But his name he's used his name to get a lot of movies greenlit and a lot of movies over here in the US that we wouldn't necessarily probably see ever. Unless you're somebody like me who scours the the bottom of the barrel movies.
Right.
Not saying these movies are bottom of the barrel. They're actually amazing movies, but we probably wouldn't have experienced it until like 20 years later if it wasn't for Tarantino.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, that kind of received mostly negative reviews, but his star power literally sold out its 16-week limited run on Broadway. So,
Wow.
so just his star power alone was enough. But that's a huge gap, 6 years, like we said. Tarantino said he put his passions on hold for a bit. He had this dream ever since he was a kid to make movies and be famous. You know, everybody wants to be famous and get money and stuff like that. It's like the American dream. Like,
Right.
let's not fuck around. You know, everybody's like, the American dream is to own a house and car.
No.
No, it's to be rich and famous. That's the fucking American dream. It's not attainable anymore, but you know, so he finds himself with his dream attained. He's there. You know, Jackie, he could have stopped after Jackie Brown and just been okay. Like, you know,
He didn't have to star in all these movies.
no,
and
he didn't
write
have to do
things
other
and-
things. Like
yeah.
he was set pretty much, but no, at the time he got to live his best life.
Yeah.
Tarantino said in an interview with Dax Shepard on The Armchair Expert, my 20s wasn't that great. Tarantino said, so in my 30s, I looked better than I did in my 20s and I had money and I was famous. So I decided I was going to live my 20s in my 30s for at least 3 or 4 years.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's what anybody would do, I think.
Right.
at
If
that
you got
point.
the money and the time, do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, take a break. And you know, also he's also experienced a little bit of a slump. You know, he's famous, he's everything. Where do you get your ambition after that? That's what I've always wanted to know because I've never experienced success like that.
Right.
You know, very few of us ever will. You know, and you got to wonder when you do attain that success, how do you keep the drive going?
Right.
That's a
How
big
to
question.
keep that momentum.
Yeah, what made him not just say, fuck it, I'm good, I've arrived, you know,
Right.
which a lot of directors and a lot of actors have done that. You know, you got these like big name actors that hit the big time and then you never see them again.
Right.
There's a lot of actors like that.
Because everybody's eventually got to take a break, but you have to come back with that gung ho spirit. I feel
That's
like.
the thing, you know, that's what separates people who are actually passionate about their art and those who are just doing it for the paycheck.
Right.
You know, like I said, you see those people, they hit it huge and then they fucking fade into obscurity and stop acting in anything. Because
That sounds like something I would do.
you're like, well, I'm not greedy. I'm good.
I did what I came here to do, and I am done.
I proved everybody wrong in my high school and I'm here. So,
And now I'm going to go take a nap.
and that on top of it, though, you know, he's hit the big time and proved everybody in his youth wrong.
Right.
So I mean, that's such a fucking the ego.
Yes.
So anyway, now, so after Tarantino was done living it up just a bit, inspiration did take hold once more. That's what I mean by, I think that's kind of what separates people who are inspired and who are these like big artists.
Mhm.
It's what separates them from most people. You know, even though, like I said, he was fine.
Right.
Like he was living it up. He was fine. He could have lived in LA for the rest of his life off of his millions from fucking Pulp Fiction and stuff. But he didn't because he's an artist.
Right. And he loves doing
He's
this.
creating. Yeah, he's got to create. So it took hold once more. And now he planned to work on Inglorious Bastards during this time. You know,
Okay.
and we're hitting the early 2000s.
Okay.
he wanted to work on Inglorious Bastards, but he felt that movie was just way too fucking big for what he had, like, and what was available at the time. Plus, at the time, around the 2000s, there were so many World War II movies coming out.
Oh, yeah.
I think you had Saving Private Ryan around this time. Maybe that was like in the late 90s. But, you had all those big-ass World War II movies popping around.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what are you going to do? Join a clique here?
Right.
Or are you going to wait? So he chose to wait, and he had another idea. For a year and a half while living in New York in 2000 and 2001, he was spending time with Uma Thurman, who he's called his unofficial muse. He said like she really does inspire a lot of his works and stuff. And he was spending time with her and her newborn daughter Maya, who he would later cast. I think he cast her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as one of the Mansonites.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
Everybody's daughter is a Manson girl in that fucking movie. But Maya Hawke, which by the way, Uma Thurman is married to Ethan Hawke. I don't know if anybody caught that on our last. I don't even know if I mentioned it the last episode.
I don't think you did, but who's Ethan Hawke? Is this somebody I need to know? Yeah,
kind of. He's pretty big. Training Day. He played opposite Denzel Washington. I'm trying to think of some popular stuff you've seen him in. The Purge, the first Purge movie.
Okay.
He's the dad in that. Fuck, I don't think you've seen anything with Ethan Hawke.
I've seen the first Purge movie a long time ago.
Reality Bites. Have you seen that? With
never even heard of that.
Ben Stiller. Oh man. Okay. Anyway, you'll find out.
I get it.
You'll find out at some point in your stint on this series whether you. Brittany's here until she divorces me or she just quits the show. I don't know which will come first.
Or if I just die one day. I mean, that's a possibility too.
Well, let's not do a bummer. But anyway. And now Thurman and Tarantino had came up with the type of character that the bride is in Kill Bill long before, in fact, during the production of Pulp Fiction. In fact, and they kind of hinted at it. We talked about this in our episode of Pulp Fiction. The Fox Force 5 pilot that Mia was a part of. That's here. That's kind of where the little seedlings of the bride came from, and that's why when you see during the credits of Kill Bill, the story by Q and U, that's Quentin and Uma.
Oh,
Uma
that's
Thurman.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, stories by Q and U.
I gotta ask you one more time. What was your experience watching this movie? Because you had tried to watch Kill Bill, from what I gather from you.
At some point, yes.
What was that? Like, what was the negative? I love hearing negative responses to movies that I fucking love.
Honestly, I gotta be completely honest with you. I don't remember.
Really?
And
do you remember the setting in which you were trying to watch this?
No, I assume it was probably with my ex-husband, and maybe we got into a fight. I don't know. But I also...
Ooh, I hate when movies get ruined when you have a fight with someone.
Yeah.
I had that happen with The Dark Knight. I got a fight with my ex-wife over.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, she was pissed because I still went to the movie. She sat in like another row though. Because I was like, what? Because she was like, wait. She was mad about something. I don't remember the argument. It was probably something fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like, she was going off on the car trip. And then she was like, let's just go fucking home. We're just going to go home. And I was like,
I'm not doing that.
I have the tickets. She was like, but yeah, I was like, I mean, I have the tickets though. So we might as well just go see. Are you seriously wanting us to go see a movie, even though we're having a fight?
Yeah.
Well, I bought the tickets though. You see, I have these tickets. And it's not like I have to buy them there. I have them.
That's funny. I don't know. Okay, go back to that. I don't care about her stupid ass.
My story was over, so you're good.
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
But I also thought it was just like a ninja movie. And I was like,
I mean, it kind of is. It is a throwback to the old school kung fu movies.
Okay, I get that. And that's fine, but I also understand now Quentin Tarantino movies, so I know that there's a good reason for all of that shit.
Which is crazy because like Quentin Tarantino does have the knack, the ability to fucking make you care about something you probably typically wouldn't give a shit about.
Right, and I understand that
Yeah.
now, so I have a new perspective on that. Like, I think I might be ready.
Like he kind of got you to care about blaxploitation movies. He gets you into the, I don't know. It's like he gets you into that mindset and you're like, well, maybe I would like these other movies. Maybe I just didn't give them a fair chance.
Right. So I think I'm ready.
Well, eventually we'll cover it. We got to do both volumes. We can't just split that up. And that's going to be hard to program, but we'll figure it out at some point. Maybe we'll just have a Kill Bill month or something.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. No. We can't do
Please
a month
don't.
over one property. That's weird.
Please don't.
Oh, God. That'd be terrible.
Because if we were going to do that, we should have done that a long time ago.
Yeah, we should have. Now, what Kill Bill did was combine Tarantino's love for stylized revenge flicks, martial arts films, spaghetti westerns, and yes, even a bit of giallo in there, Italian horror.
Right.
He crafted it into this 2-part fucking masterpiece. Now, originally, it actually wasn't supposed to be 2 parts. It was supposed to come out in a complete 4-hour cut.
Oh, fuck that.
But obviously with crowds and stuff, nobody's going to go to the theater. Not a lot of people. Like I would. I mean, we all know I would. Some people would, but not a lot of people are going to go out to the theater to watch a 4-hour movie.
No.
You know, so that inspired him to kind of cut it down, you know, and I'm sure Miramax and Harvey Weinstein and stuff, I'm sure they were on his ass to fucking, hey man, we can't be just
we can't be shoving 4-hour movies down people's throats.
So it's cut into 2 parts, which is respectively considered one whole movie.
Right.
You know, that's why you don't hear, because technically he has 10 movies out.
Right.
With those 2 parts, but it's not. It's considered his 4th film.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
Just part 1 and part 2 is his 4th whole movie because it is. It's a whole movie. Now, these were the first Tarantino movies that I got to see in the theater.
Right.
You know, and my fucking Lord, these came right after. These came right after, like, me and my friends were huge into The Matrix, which came out in 99. You know, we were big on the Matrix movies, and we were just starting to get into Kung Fu movies because of our love for the Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay.
You know, Wu-Tang Clan, I don't know, a lot of people don't comment on this, but all the members of the Wu-Tang Clan fucking loved Kung Fu movies. It's referenced in all their songs. Okay. It's fucking a big thing. You know, even the name of their fucking band, the Wu-Tang Clan, comes from a martial arts movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, you know, we were just starting in on that and it came at the right fucking time for me. Like, so this movie was like, if you would have talked to me back then, I would have told you Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2 were the best movies ever fucking made. That is
to you, they were.
Yeah, that astounds me about some of these older movies that I go back and I watch and I'm like, man, I thought this was like the best fucking movie in the world at the time, like The Matrix. Watched The Matrix the other day. Still great movie, still holds up. The first Matrix. Mm-hmm. It's not it's not like what I felt like when I was younger. I was like, wow.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, this is a good movie. I love this movie still, right. But it's not like the be all end all like it was when I was younger, man. Because you would have talked to me about The Matrix back then. Oh shit. The nerdiness. The nerdiness about that fucking movie.
I don't know anything about that movie.
And when you really dig into the Matrix and into the fucking metaphors in that movie, it really makes sense since I was a closet case for most of my life. Why I connected with that movie so well.
Oh, now I need to watch this. Yeah. I feel like it's another one I would hate.
I don't know. You might actually enjoy it. I think The Matrix is a very good popcorn film.
But is it sci-fi?
At the highest part, yeah. It's very sci-fi. Only without lasers. A lot of guns.
But you know I don't like that.
I know. It's very hard to get Brittany really interested in sci-fi. I think we achieved the impossible with the Alien movie that we covered. That you really loved the Alien movie, and that's sci-fi.
I know.
Sci-fi horror, but
it's the horror.
Yeah, it's the horror part that really got you. But But no, these fucking movies just fucking spoke to us at the time. You know, the nods to Jidajeko. I can't fucking pronounce the word. Jidajiki or something. It's a form of Japanese cinema.
Okay.
But these movies just fucking spoke to us. We nerded out over Kill Bill. We went out. You guys are gonna laugh your asses off. We went out and bought swords.
Oh my god.
We got fucking samurai swords from the local army surplus.
Is that when your dad had to pick you up from the police station?
Yeah, because we went as ninjas. We went as the crazy 88s.
Oh my god.
And we're walking around, which by the way, this is a small town. You know, this is one Halloween. So we went as the crazy 88s and we were walking around town. Jinx, America, which is the smallest fucking religious town you've ever seen. And we're walking around the streets with fucking swords and fucking dressed up with masks on. It was fucking ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Of course, all the old people called on us and the cop who came and confiscated our swords was laughing his ass off.
He's like,
he was like, I'm sorry, you guys, I got to take these though. You can't be walking around with swords.
God damn it! I paid for these.
He was like, "These are technically weapons. Like, this is not okay. You can't." Because we were like, "Well, what's wrong? They're just swords. They're not a gun. Not a gun." You know, a shithead little teenager I am. Right. And he was like, "Yeah, but the law is 2 inches on a fixed blade. Right. 2 inches. This is a samurai sword." So my dad had to go pick up our fucking swords.
He still laughs about that.
We just fucking went home after that. We were like, well, what's the point? Now our costumes don't make any sense.
They probably didn't make sense before.
Probably not. Probably not to anybody. Somebody was like, these boys about to rob the liquor store with the samurai swords. I could imagine that cop getting that call. They're doing the what now?
With what?
With the what? Oh, but yeah, it's just so much fucking fun, man. Kill Bill, I will say that is one movie that I've revisited both parts, and I'm like, wow, this is just as fun.
Right.
Like, it's still just as fun as it was back then. But after Kill Bill, Tarantino went to the small screen for a bit. You know, in 2002 and 2004, he played the role of McInnes Cole on the ABC TV show Alias. I never watched a single episode of that show except for the episodes he was on.
And that was recently, wasn't it?
No. This was back in the day, 2002 to 2004. The Jennifer Garner Alias movie. Or show, TV show. Like I said, I don't know what that show is about. I just watched for Tarantino. So it kind of made no sense, but you got to see Tarantino.
I don't know anything about that show.
And in 2005, though, he also directed an episode of CSI, the original CSI, where they were in Las Vegas.
Nice.
Not the Miami with the David Caruso, yeah, or anything like that.
What was that?
Yeah. You remember that?
No.
The CSI man. Do you remember any CSI? Like back in the day when CSI was like the shit?
No, I never watched CSI.
Oh, it was awesome, man. I never missed an episode of CSI with William. I can't remember his fucking name. He was in Manhunter. Shit. Good movie. Good show, though. At the time, I think there's like 12 fucking CSIs now.
Yeah.
So you can't follow it anymore. But no, like the David Caruso was the one where like every time like the show would open, and I'm probably explaining a meme to people and I'm probably boring people to tears right now. But every time the show would open, he'd be like looking at a dead body or something and he'd like do a one-liner and he'd put his sunglasses on and then the theme song would start. Yeah, it was fucking ridiculous. But anyway. But no, he directed an episode of the original CSI, an episode called Gravedigger, or Grave Danger. I'm sorry. It's where someone's trapped in a fucking coffin underground for like the whole episode.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Oh, it's good. It's a good fucking episode. It got nominated for a Primetime Emmy for Best Direction.
Nice.
Of course, that brings us to Grindhouse, you know, where in the 2006 and 2007 era of the films.
Right.
And we covered quite a bit, I think, of Grindhouse on our episode of Death Proof. You know, I talked about how the world was not ready for a Grindhouse throwback. Nobody knew what the fuck this was. No, nobody understood this.
Right.
Like, and And like I told you, you know, we watched Death Proof together, and I was like, if I didn't tell you what this was going for, and you just went to the theater and you got a lot of this, like a 2-part this, you might be disappointing.
Confusing.
Yeah, you'd be like, what the fuck did I pay full price for? What am I doing here?
There was a glitch in the fucking movie.
What is this? What are these trailers in between? These are not real movies.
Right.
Which, by the way, Eli Roth directs Thanksgiving trailer in there, which is like a slasher Thanksgiving movie.
Oh, wow.
A lot of mock trailers in there. But yeah, those nobody was ready for that.
Right.
You know? Back on Death Proof for
Okay.
a minute. You know, like I said, if you want a full in-depth of Death Proof, go listen to our episode we did last month.
Of course.
But like, I feel like Death Proof, it does stick out as one of his lower points of his career when you put all his movies together.
Right.
You know, which, like you said, I think you said it. Like, you were like, this is good, but you were like, this is like a drop from what I've been seeing, you know, because we watched Pulp Fiction, then we hit Jackie Brown, and then all of a sudden we hit Death Proof, and it's like, what? Are you sure this wasn't the first movie he made?
Right. There's just something about it. And also, it wasn't as long, I think. If I remember correctly.
It has a lot. And we watched the unedited version, so we got a lot of the dialogue that was left out of the original cut.
Right.
Which I suggest you guys, you got to own these in the right way. You got to have Planet Terror, which is the Robert Rodriguez movie, and you got to have Death Proof separate, because those are both unedited movies, completely different movies. But you also need to buy the Blu-ray, which combines them all into the original theatrical experience. So you got to own them several different ways to really get the full experience.
So you're telling people to spend a lot of fucking money.
I maybe $30. I think, you know, for the amount I've seen some of you spend on really shitty 80s movies that have just come out on Blu-ray with nice fancy packaging. Like, I think you guys could probably spend a little bit on the Grindhouse and be just fine.
Oh my gosh.
All I'm saying. Is that not weird to anyone else but me?
Yes. No.
Like, well, no, I'm a collector. I love collecting movies and stuff like that, but I am a weird collector. I don't care what it is. Like, what
you're the
version
only
it is. I'm one of these people who's like, I want the movie. Now, if there's a different version of the movie, then yes, I'll buy that. Like, if I'm missing stuff, I'll buy that for that. But you get like people having to pay $40 for what was that? Axe Grind or something like that. They're like shitty slasher movies that aren't really worth like $35. Not to me. I don't know.
Right.
They're good, but and you've heard this from me when I've been like, "Ooh, this is coming out on Blu-ray? Oh, finally." $40?
Yes.
What the fuck is no?
You're like, I'm waiting until I get this cheap.
Yes, I'm gonna plug this into eBay, the watch thing, and when it pops up for a cheaper price, I'll get it.
Right.
Not now. I don't know. That's just me, like I said. Now it's time though. We're gonna leave Death Proof and stuff, which, like I said, I love Death Proof, but I could see where some people think it's his lowest movie.
Right.
I think out of all the, like, if you look at the tomato ratings or whatever, I think it has like a 66%. Yeah. I hate Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's the worst. It's the worst thing ever done for movie criticism known to man.
Because
is averaging movie scores. I don't like that. I think you should select each individual movie critic and go with their thing if it fits you.
Right.
Like that's what I do. Like I maybe have 5 movie critics I read all the time.
Mm-hmm.
One used to be Roger Ebert before he fucking died. But I have like a bunch of movie critics that I like to read. And those are the only ones I care about. Their opinion, because it fits me.
Right.
Their tastes fit my tastes. So I can tell if I'm going to like a movie or if I'm not going to like a movie by their opinion of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't necessarily line like that. Sometimes I'm like, well, no, I think you were a little bit difficult on that movie and you didn't have to be. But But that's okay. That's a wonderful movie criticism. But when you take all these things and tally them up, all these people's ratings and tally them up into an average rating, I think that's the weirdest fucking thing
Right.
I've ever heard. I don't care if it's a 90% on a movie I love. I still find it fucking odd. Like, that doesn't truly represent what that movie is.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know.
really weird.
But you have a lot of people that follow that, and I think it's a fucking mistake. But anyway, moving on. What am I doing?
I don't know.
But yeah, Death Proof is his lowest. But it took Tarantino over a decade to create Inglorious Bastards.
Oh, wow.
Which, as I said, he was working on this around the end of the 90s, or at least the idea of what this would be. You know, his bunch of guys on a mission movie. Via The Dirty Dozen or Guns of the Navarone or fucking even The Greatest Escape. Not as much like The Greatest Escape or The Great Escape. That's a good Steve McQueen movie, man. If you guys haven't seen The Great Escape, you're fucking missing out on some wonderful cinema.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, and The Guns of the Navarone. I am surprised by the people who fucking these motherfuckers who claim to be like these big old fucking film guys, like I love film and stuff, and I'm like, oh man, so I can talk about some movies with you, you know, if you're a film booth. And Guns of the Navarone is not like a non-heard of movie.
I'm pretty sure it is.
No, it's not if you're into film. Like, and so like, I don't know. It just annoys me. You got too many armchair people running around the internet now, and it's hard to have a conversation with them, because then it's like I'm having a conversation with someone and then all of a sudden they start pausing for long periods of time, and then they come back with some info. I'm like, you literally you literally went and found the Wikipedia article. Now I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to Wikipedia, and it's not fun to me. But anyway, wow. The tangents of this episode. The tangents I'm going on. But anyway, Brittany has no ideas what these movies are. I'm
so fucking
rattling
confused.
But no, with Inglorious Bastards, Tarantino started to become what he said why it took so long is he was becoming way precious with the page. You know, he was really pouring detail in where there might not have needed detail, you know? And I think it's with Inglorious Bastards, though, where you see this world building go to a completely different area than what we had before. There's always been a Tarantino verse.
Yeah.
You know, like Reservoir Dogs, you had like Mr. Blonde in that. He's one of the Vegas. You know, Vincent Vega's brother is in Reservoir Dogs, and Vincent Vega played by John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. There's always been a Tarantino. Yeah. There's always been a Tarantino verse where all these things are kind of connected if you wanted to really do that.
Yeah.
But I think with Inglorious Bastards, it goes to a whole different level, because like there is so much fucking story packed into this film. It's insane. There's a little, and it's not there. That's what's crazy is because you get introduced to fucking Eli Roth's character, the Bear Jew, you know, the guy who cracks Nazi skulls open with the fucking baseball bat.
Okay.
Like you get introduced to him and you feel like you've known him forever. Like you feel like you've known this character, and
that's cool.
And I think that's where this starts.
I like
you
that.
Know, I don't think in his previous movies we really felt like we've known the characters forever. Not
forever, just for the time that we're in the movie.
Yeah, yeah. And this is his revisionist time, which, by the way, because spoiler, but like fucking Hitler gets fucking blown to bits at the end of this movie, which is more of that, like, well, we talked about this in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. It's more of that revisionist kind of catharticism, you know, like,
this is what should have happened. Yeah,
there was a lot of people that had a problem with this movie. Inglorious Bastards.
There's a lot of people that have problems with a lot of things.
I'm sorry. But if you're an American talking about the problems with depicting a German like Nazi getting his head cracked open by a baseball bat wielding Jew, I think something's wrong and not American about you, because that is the most cathartic thing I ever saw. Like he just comes out and just beats the ever loving shit out of this Nazi, man. just
Nice.
mercilessly. Fucking, oh.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and the whole time, which Eli Roth, we'll get to him in a bit, but Eli Roth is fucking, he's like, and Mickey Mantle goes up for the bat, and he just, blah, just beats this dude's fucking head in. I love it. But like I said earlier, he felt this was a bigger movie than he had the ability to approach, you know, even though I feel like Kill Bill was fucking massive.
Right.
Yeah.
But it may not have been so much that like it was just easier.
Right.
You know what I mean? In his brain.
You're right.
Yeah.
Other directors, like I said, were also doing World War II films. So, you know, you wanted to stay away from the fad. Or,
Right.
you know, just throwing out another World War II movie to sneak up the theaters. Because when Inglorious Bastards came out, I don't think there was much World War II stuff going on. There wasn't a lot of movies like this. So, like, it's like, oh, a World War II movie. And that might be interesting.
I haven't seen one of those in a while.
Yeah, this might be interesting.
Yeah.
But he planned to begin production around 2005 or 2004. But he delayed, and he delayed that actually to help with one of his other like heroes, Takahashi Miike, which we talked about in our Japanese series, Japanese horror and stuff. But Takashi Miike's Western film, Sukiyaki Western Genko, that movie. If you guys want a bug nuts fucking like Western, but also Kung Fu movie, that is the way to go. And it's got Tarantino in a role in it. And it is so fucking awesome.
That's cool.
I love that fucking movie. I think my favorite Takashi Miike movies are the ones where he goes fucking weird with it.
Right.
He just gets really fucking weird with this one.
Is it dubbed?
Yeah. It's in Mandarin. Except for
nice.
Tarantino's parts.
Right.
It's in English. Now, after his work on that, he became a bit sidetracked. You know, because he's working with Takashi Miike. He's working on a real fucking Japanese like production. And so he does this thing in his career where he gets a little sidetracked. It's like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? And this was his idea. I'm going to make a whole fucking Kung Fu movie in nothing but Mandarin.
Oh, shit.
It's going to have the Mandarin language is going to be throughout the entire thing. and we're going to film it like that. And then we're going to go back and overdub it like the old school Kung Fu.
Oh my God.
He does that thing. And I feel like I feel connected with him because I do that shit all the fucking time. I start like,
you just get a wild hair up your ass.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to do this and this. We're going to do this and this and this and this. And you're like, okay, you have a life?
Right.
You do know that takes a lot of time, what you're suggesting.
Right.
And a lot of money. And that's not possible.
We don't have either of those things.
Think smaller. Think smaller.
And I'm not trying to like crush your dreams. I'm just trying to let it be realistic.
No, it's just like my movie thing. You know, the hardest thing I've been having to do with making a movie is not literally making a movie or coming up with a good story. It's literally trying to keep my story not so big so I can actually fucking afford to film it.
Right.
Like, cause I'm like, oh yeah, and then the car explodes, and then this guy has to fucking ramp a motorcycle over it. And I'm like, okay. Where are you gonna do this?
Right.
And who's gonna do this? First of all, who's gonna do this with no pay? But
You're gonna have to keep it to a singular room.
Yeah, I've got to. It's hard not to think big,
right?
But after his work with that, yeah, he got a bit sidetracked. And I have a whole list of unrealized projects coming up, by the way. So in case you were curious about that, because there is some crazy shit on that list.
Oh God.
But, back to Inglorious Bastards, which the title was inspired by Enzo G. Castellari's 1978 war film, The Inglorious Bastards, only spelled differently. Tarantino spells bastards with an E instead of an A at the end there.
Oh, to get away with copying a movie title? Okay.
Well, not necessarily. Titles aren't copyright.
Are you sure about that?
Well, it's kind of been bad tact. Like, I can't just make a movie called The Matrix and expect no one to figure out how to sue me. You know what I mean? But if I did, I could technically make a movie that had nothing to do with The Matrix, the established Matrix movies, and call it The Matrix.
That's weird.
Yeah, because titles, they're a gray area.
Right.
In copyright. But anyway, But the film Inglorious Bastards opened at #1 and went on to become Tarantino's highest grossing film. That was until 2012.
Right.
Now, so we've discussed it. I think I've said the word spaghetti western through this series so many fucking times that it's not even funny at this point. But we discussed how spaghetti westerns, especially Sergio Corbucci and Sergio Leone, were huge influences on Tarantino's style. I think those two directors alone have the biggest influences on him and his style of movie, especially when we're going to... I've made Brittany suffer through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I really wanted you to notice about that movie how it's like laid out and how it's so much more epic than it actually is in scope and in shooting and in art style.
Okay.
Because I feel
okay.
I feel like if you compare that to his movies, you can definitely see the influence.
Right.
But you know, Pulp Fiction could arguably be seen as a spaghetti western if you wanted to.
What?
I think so. It just has the feel to me. I don't know why, but it has that feel.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
But the same with all his movies. That's the thing. You could compare them to the spaghetti westerns.
Are you smoking crack?
No.
What?
I'm hoping somebody feels the same way.
I do not feel that way.
But anyway, but in 2012, we got Django Unchained, and that's Tarantino going full spaghetti western. It is a spaghetti western.
Now that one makes sense. Yes.
It is a spaghetti western taking place pre-Civil War. Now, production began in 2011, and Tarantino's highly satisfying film about a former slave in pre-Civil War times who goes on a quest of vengeance and love, dealt largely with a side of America Tarantino had felt like we hadn't really been dealing with at the time.
Right.
And we still don't. I don't understand why we shy so far away from this. So much so is that when we consider teaching it to our kids in school, there's a big hubbub about it.
Oh my God. Yes. And I'm like, can we get the real history here?
Why are we teaching our kids white guilt? Because you kind of might want to feel a little guilty about your ancestors. I don't know. I do.
It's a part of history. We teach about fucking Hitler.
Yeah. You know how many times I heard about Susan B. Anthony? Not saying it's not a bad thing. I'm glad she did what she did for the women's suffrage movement. It's great. Honestly, that's actually all I heard about Susan B. Anthony. Never heard anything else about her.
That's all she was about.
Yeah. And then when you look at like slavery and like civil rights and the Civil War and stuff like that, it's all glossed over, man.
Oh, yeah.
You hear nothing about black people, and not in my school. Not in my school. You know, the biggest thing about the civil rights was Martin Luther King was a good man. Didn't believe in violence.
Right.
And Rosa Parks sat on the bus. That's all I really got.
I agree.
That's all I fucking got.
Either.
And that the Civil War, you know, there were slaves, you know, and that was one of the stipulations. It wasn't all about slavery. It wasn't all about slavery. Yeah, motherfucker.
It fucking was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was about the rights of the South or whatever and their money. Once you start fucking with people's money, and slavery was making a lot of people money.
Right.
So that's what it was about. So stop it. But
tell the truth.
But you know, when you see someone like Django come out, who's this former black slave, and he becomes this fucking hero where he goes and he's killing all the white people.
Right.
Kills all the white people, which that got Jamie Foxx in a little bit of trouble because he was joking around and they were like, what was the greatest thing about filming Django Unchained?
See where this is going.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know, it was kind of fun killing all them white people.
I knew you were going to say that. That's hilarious.
Oh, but you see something like that, and it's a mythical, like, black hero Tarantino made for that movie. It's something that, like, we hadn't had during the time. Like I said, back in the 70s, we got it with Shaft and with the Mac and, like, stuff like that.
Right.
But we had it with too much stereotype.
Right.
But with Django, he's not a walking stereotype. You know, he's this badass motherfucker who gets the shit done, but he happens to be black and he happens to be a slave.
Right.
You know, and it's a wonderful movie for that. But, you know, we had a listener say that that movie, Django Unchained, to them feels like a horror movie.
It kind of is.
They were like, it's fucking scary to me.
Yeah.
And this person happens to be black. And he's like, that shit's fucking horrifying.
Oh, I bet. Even more to a black person.
Well, yeah. And I think in that movie especially, because there's a whole scene where the Leonardo DiCaprio, who, by the way, had a huge issue with his character.
Really?
He didn't realize how evil his character was going to be. And he had a huge problem with the amount of racism that his character throws out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because he was like, I don't know if I should say the N-word this many times, Quentin. It's a lot.
I'm a white man.
Yeah, it was funny because like Samuel L. Jackson had to take him aside and be like, hey, look, motherfucker, this is like a Tuesday for us.
Right.
So just fucking do it, you know?
Right. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, and Jamie Foxx said he had to look at him and be like, dude, we are not friends. We are not friends. You're a villain. You hate me. You hate who I am. And so,
right.
They really had to break him out of his shell for that. Because, I mean.
Right. And kind of put him in character for that.
Yeah. So he had a huge problem. And that movie really displays like the evilness. And you could argue that maybe it's a little bit more like fanciful or like more fantasy than truth. But at the same time, I think it depicts the spirit of like what the evil was behind the fucking slavery movement and stuff like that, and white slave handlers, to the point where it's kind of uncomfortable at parts, even for me, a white guy, you know, right. Watching fucking Don Johnson just calling people the N-word and like it's fucking nothing. Right. It's ugh. But anyway, now for Tarantino to approach this movie as a way to deal with this awful stuff America's afraid to approach, it did come with a lot of controversy, of course. You know,
of course it did.
It always is going to, and of course, what's his name came back at Spike Lee. He obviously came back out to voice his opinions about it.
Oh yeah,
I agree with everyone. Honestly, like for the most part, not so much white people commenting about it, but because there was the oh well, they're just depicting us all as evil white people. Well, man, it kind of was, dude. Let's not gloss it over.
Did you not watch the movie?
Yeah, but I agree with Spike Lee when he says, you know, the N-word is bad to use. I take the middle ground because I'm a white guy.
Right.
I'm a white guy. Nobody gives a shit.
Right.
We should stop giving a shit about my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, so when people do attack Spike Lee for attacking Quentin Tarantino, I don't think it's your right to attack Spike Lee for his offense. You know, for him being offended by something.
Right. Because we shouldn't judge people's offenses.
No, I don't know. You know, something about those movies offended, and he hates them, and that's fine. You know, I don't think you should be forced to watch something that's offensive to you. Right.
Just don't watch it.
Yeah. And everybody's enabled to their own opinion. But so I just wanted to clear the air on that. You know, I actually love Spike Lee movies, but you know, moving on. Now, The Hateful Eight followed after in 2015, and it was supposed to be a sequel to Django. Django was supposed to be in The Hateful Eight, but the problem with the way Hateful Eight is laid out, because it's literally 8 people stuck in a cabin, and people are not who they seem to be, and so they have to it's
I did not know anything about this movie.
The Hateful Eight got a lot of not pun intended, but hate. A lot of people did not like this because I feel like it's Tarantino letting off the gas again.
Right.
It's tense. It's tense. It takes place all in Minnie's haberdashery out in the snow. They're snowed in. I think it's as close to The Thing as Tarantino could go, because he said that The Thing really has inspired a lot of what he did.
Right.
Like he was like, The Thing really inspired like Reservoir Dogs. He was like, part of that was inspired by The Thing and stuff. And he was like, that left a big mark. I think it's as close to that as possible, because like, here's the thing, you know, you have 8 people. They're all bad people. Nobody's a good. That was one of the problem people had, because they were like, who am I supposed to center with here? And you're not.
Who am I supposed to pick?
Yeah, you're not supposed to pick anyone. They're all evil motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But they're stuck in one spot. You know, and you watch that play out. It's part of the paranoia. You know, and when you watch that movie, the paranoia really gets to you, and you start like second
this sounds
guessing.
like a movie I would like.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good mystery. It unfolds wonderfully.
Why didn't you tell me about this?
Yeah, I was saving it. We'll end up watching it at another point. And yes, it came out on Christmas, and I think it is a Christmas movie.
Let's just say it's a Christmas movie.
Well, because they mentioned Christmas. It takes place during the holiday.
So it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's a fucking Christmas movie.
Nice.
Now, I think, I don't know. I think it's one of his strongest. I disagree with a lot of people who didn't like this movie. Because, like I said, they didn't have that centralized, like, moral center. There's no moral center in this fucking movie. And when I say moral center, I mean like, well, in Django, you have your moral center, Django.
Right.
You know, that's why he took Django out of this movie. That's why he stopped with the whole, it was going to be a sequel. Because he was like, once you put Django in, the audience has somebody to root for. They have a moral center. And this story did not need a moral compass.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's what's wonderful.
I like that. I want to watch it.
It is a good fucking movie. Now, a lot of people around this time, new fans, you know, he's getting new fans every time he makes a new movie. You know, people see these. Yeah, you go back and watch the old movies and you become a Tarantino fan. That's how that shit works.
Yeah.
So, like, he's getting new fans, and a lot of people started noticing around this time that how dedicated to film he truly is. Like fucking dedicated to actual film. He shoots all his movies on 35 millimeter film with one camera. You know, you don't have like multiple cameras shooting multiple angles and stuff like that. You got one.
Nice.
And then he pieces it and edits it all together at the end. Now, The Hateful Eight, it was shown in a special 70 millimeter print to certain theaters, which was called the Roadshow cut. Mm-hmm. He toured around with it and showed it to special theaters that actually had film projectors. So it was a special time, which I wish I could have went to one of those screenings. You could have bought tickets, but it was like places like LA, New York, you know, places nowhere near us.
Big places, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, man, I wish I lived in fucking New York or LA just to see these kind of things.
Yeah, because you would never like to live there. There's too many people there for you.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. I don't know. I might get used to it. Who knows? Probably not.
No.
I'd probably be like Larry David wandering around just bitching at everybody. But anyway.
Stupid fucking show.
I have been obsessed with Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Brittany has not been enjoying the ride. I think this kind of clears up. I don't know if you'll like Seinfeld then.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll show you some episodes. I don't think you should start with the first season of Seinfeld, but that's aside the point. We're talking Tarantino.
Okay.
But yeah, so these things ran in projections, and he did a special extended cut for Netflix that you can go watch. Only on Netflix, in fact. It's not been released on Blu-ray, and it is like a 3-hour version of The Hateful Eight, and I love it. But what he does very smartly is he broke it up into episodes. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so it's episodic. So you get to watch these and consume them at your own leisure without having to sit through an entire runtime of 3, maybe 4 something hours.
Even though he would love that.
Oh, I loved it. I sat through the whole thing. Started in the morning and ended in the afternoon. Now, anyway, moving on, which, by the way, I love The Hateful Eight. It was a great movie. But then, of course, the best movie out of his whole thing, my favorite movie. At this moment, it's still my favorite movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
You know, which just go listen to our episode on that. We go all in on that fucking movie.
Yes. It was great.
Which knowing now, after we've gone through like his life, living in LA, growing up around all this stuff. I mean, because remember, he grew up during this time. Maybe he was too young for some of the stuff to really know how impactful, the Manson murders. Like, he was too young to really know the impact of that or to really feel it. But he heard about it. Right. You know, he heard people talking about it. And just to think that he grew up during this time, it truly is a love letter to that period of time in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
with the old buildings and
he really does. Like, it gets you a little misty eyed when you're someone like me who fucking loves old school Hollywood stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like when you see old Hollywood coming to life in color. Like you're not just seeing it in old pictures or old movies and stuff. It looks real.
It feels like you're there.
Yeah. It's like he took you back and stuff. That really is the whole movie's love letter to film and to Hollywood. And I just love it for that.
Oh, yeah.
And especially with the treatment he did of Sharon Tate.
Right. Thank God.
Oh, yeah, because a lot of people were me including, I was like, is Tarantino going a little too far? Because is he going to do a Tarantinoized version of the Manson murders?
Right.
I didn't think the world needed that. We get enough bad taste with everybody else's fucking movies about Sharon Tate.
Right.
Like, fucking looking at you, Hilary Duff, with The Haunting of Sharon Tate, where they made it into a horror movie.
But what this movie did was, and I talked about this in the episode, we talked about this on the episode, is gave them the ending that they deserved.
Right. It's more that revisionist.
Right.
And these movies that we're talking about near the end here are all kind of revisionist movies.
Oh, okay.
Not so much The Hateful Eight. People like to lump it into as revisionist stuff, but I don't agree with that. I don't think that's what that is.
I'd have to watch it.
It could take place, because Hateful Eight takes place post-Civil War.
Okay.
But there's no like real life characters in there or anything. It's not anything like that. It's just, it's its own thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that one.
But yeah, the revisionist stuff, I think it really does. It surprises you, shocks you at the end. That ending is so shocking because you're like, whoa.
This isn't what I expected.
Yeah. and it's so wonderful. Like I said, it brings makes me a little misty-eyed to that movie. There's things in that movie that make me tear up that you would not expect I would tear up to. Like there's part of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where Rick Dalton, where that girl comes up to him, the girl that, because they share a great scene, him and that girl.
Yeah.
Where it's basically old school Hollywood, the fading star who's aging out, and then the new up and coming person that's basically taking his place. You know, like it's representation of that. And they share a wonderful scene with that. But then when he does a wonderful job. He pulls it together to do like such a good performance in just this little TV show episode.
Right.
He does a wonderful performance and she comes up and tells him that, that was the best acting I've ever seen. And then he just tears up.
He's like, oh, thanks. I needed that.
Yeah. Because there's no words, but we talked about it on that episode, but Leo is such a fucking good actor. He conveys everything in that little moment where he gets a little teary eyed and just fucking Rick Fulton Dalton. You're like, yeah. It's just stuff like that makes you a little teary eyed and stuff. And he is such the most mature film he's ever put out, I think. Less
out of what I've watched, then probably. Yeah.
Less depiction on cool and slick and actiony and stuff like that.
Right.
Less of that and more of just like impactful themes and like. I don't know, just almost also a slice of life of what that probably was like. To be those people.
Just living there and being, I don't know, was Sharon Tate an A-list celebrity? Maybe she was a B.
She was on her way. She pretty much,
Right. And just even the Playboy Mansion, I loved that because there wasn't a lot of that, but it was like, I bet people fucking did that. They just went there and had dance parties and and that's not how it was depicted like when we were growing up. Everybody probably went there to have sex is what I always thought.
Yeah, well, you get like from the stuff that we consume, like the movies that these people are in.
Yeah.
And the documentaries on them, you get a sense that they're not people. You never get that feeling that these are just legit, just people, just working people.
Right.
Like that just lucked out during this time.
And that's not even
famous.
And that's not even this time. I really feel like this is a lot of actors and stuff still to this day. Like they're still just fucking people.
Yeah. You never really, until they say something god awful and then you fucking realize, oh yeah, actors can be pieces of shit too.
Yeah.
James Woods. But yeah, like I think that movie really does. And just the depiction of detail. Just a little detail. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a scene where at the end of the shooting day on that Lancer episode that Rick Dalton shoots, you see James Stacey hop on his motorcycle and drive off. James Stacey rode a motorcycle everywhere he went. So just a little attention to fucking detail, like down to Steve McQueen's literal car in real life.
Right.
Like showing him driving the car he would have drove her. It's so much.
That's awesome.
You know, it's so thick. I think James Stacey actually ended up dying on that very same motorcycle in a wreck.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. But anyway, you know, enough on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's, for some reason, even though you're not a movie fan, you can stick with me on the conversation about that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that movie was such a conversation starter.
Yes.
But, you know, that was his 9th, you know, and we'll talk about it here in a minute, but he has said he's going to retire after 10.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk
He's
more about that.
He's also said a lot of stuff that
he has.
It didn't do.
We'll get to the stuff he said he's going to do and he didn't do in just a minute. Now, it was during the making of that film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that Tarantino, in the light of Harvey Weinstein's crimes, you know, cut ties with his longtime producers. We didn't really dedicate a lot of time in this miniseries to Harvey Weinstein and Quentin Tarantino's relationship.
Right.
But just know that they were from the very beginning. You know, the Weinsteins really fucking catapulted him into success.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously Quentin Tarantino is friends with them, you know. He even said he looked up to Harvey Weinstein as kind of a father figure.
Oh.
He said in retrospect, a fucked up father figure, but a father figure. Because the thing is, you know, Tarantino did hear stories. He did hear about Harvey Weinstein's attitude towards women. Maybe not to the full effect, but he did hear stories.
Right.
And he did kind of know that. In fact, he had a firsthand encounter with it because Harvey had done something. There was a situation that Quentin Tarantino didn't go into, but I think this was on the Joe Rogan podcast that I listened to, where Tarantino and Joe Rogan sat down to talk.
Yeah.
Great episode. I hate Joe Rogan, but a good fucking interviewer. He's a really good interviewer.
Right.
But anyway, so he sat down with Tarantino, and Tarantino said that there was a situation when he was dating Mira Sorvino where he had to approach Harvey and fucking get an apology.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he got an apology from Harvey to Mira Sorvino and everything like that, patched it up. But Tarantino did say, he was like, what I did was marginalize the incidents. You know, he said, I knew enough to do more than I did.
Right.
He said that's like one of his biggest regrets is that he would go on to say that he wished he did more. You know, he said Harvey was like this fucked up father figure. And he said, I was close to him. I should have sat him down. Everybody should have sat him down early on. And you know, everybody should have stopped him.
Right. And been like,
yeah,
you done fucked up.
Yeah. So like, so he did cut ties, but he does regret not pushing things even further than he did. You know, so you know, a lot of people have come down there like, well, if he knew this whole time. Here's the thing, man. You know, to say a big Hollywood producer isn't a fucked up individual at this point in time, it's kind of hard to say. You know, you hear about this all the fucking time. All these Hollywood producers are probably slime balls, man. You know, the casting couch. How many times have you heard about the casting couch? That's the thing, man.
Right.
The problem is we joked about it for so long. You know, made sketches on SNL about it. We joked about these fucking incidents. It's so fucking long that we became numb to it. So when shit actually hit the fan and it started being proved as fucking real and we had to face it, I think now we become more critical.
Right.
Which is expected. But I think for someone like Tarantino who relies on this, he looked up to this guy as a father, and there's a certain amount of probable, I don't know, I would understand it like some fucking turn in the head, you know, stuff you don't want to believe. You know, you hear stuff about that. It's like if you heard something about your actual dad.
Right.
You know, you hear, like, if I heard my dad raped someone, I'm probably not going to believe it.
Right.
You know, for the longest time,
even
if I'm seeing signs.
Right.
And I think that's just human behavior.
Oh, of course.
But he seems to show regret. I don't know Quentin Tarantino personally, so I can't say if he really does.
Right.
But he seems to show it, so that's all you can do. Like, so I don't.
All you can do is apologize for not doing more, and that's what he did, and that's it. Because the thing is, like, he didn't do it. Hopefully, it crossed my. I don't think he did, but like, he didn't do it.
In all my research of Tarantino and all the time I spent like really looking into him and really learning about him and stuff like that, I've never run across a time where he's done that.
Right.
Not sexual. He's been an asshole. Because he is an asshole.
Right.
Like, but other than that, he's never been creepy or weird. I mean, even the foot thing, people have said, I just let him do things to my feet. I don't care. Like, it's consensual.
Right.
He's never done anything out of consent. So I don't know. I just go by what I hear, but it's up to you to decide on that.
Right.
Moving on, though. Well, like I said, I'm not going to spend that much time with Harvey Weinstein. I'm just not. The guy doesn't fucking deserve it.
No.
There's all these other, if you want to go listen to that, there's plenty of other podcasts that fucking go into it like way beyond what it deserves. But I don't think we should give that motherfucker any fucking airwaves. But
right.
So that's why he's been largely left out until now. But let's talk a bit about Quentin Tarantino's producer status. Now, I mentioned, his producer status, his name. I've already mentioned how his name really can get shit greenlit.
Oh, yeah.
And get shit more fame than it actually would have probably happened. I talked about last episode with the RZA. How he from Wu-Tang Clan. Okay, I was like, the RZA. What? How he got. Now, RZA did a lot of the music in Kill Bill. Right. I think it was the first Kill Bill he did. And so during that time, they had met and stuff. And RZA probably mentioned that he wanted to do movies and stuff. So Quentin Tarantino started teaching him. Kind of mentored him about making movies and stuff like that. And he went on to do, I think, really good fucking movies that get no attention. The Man with the Iron Fist, part 1 and 2. Great fucking kung fu movies. Oh, nice. Yeah, in fact, the first one has the funnest character I've ever seen fucking Crow. Russell Crowe play. Like, he plays a character called Jackknife who fucking kills people with knives. It's so fucking fun. They're good fucking movies. And that comes from Tarantino. And those movies probably wouldn't have even got released if it wasn't for Tarantino Presents being on top of that title. Yeah. And stuff like that. But so I mentioned that. And but he's also given more notice to foreign films as well. The movie Iron Monkey from 2001. These are probably a few movies that you're not going to be familiar with, but it was a big movie. And in 2004, Jet Li's Hero, received huge attention because Tarantino was the producer. And of course, in 2006, another Quentin Tarantino Presents dropped in theaters, and that was Eli Roth's Hostel. Oh, that's right. And now Tarantino and Eli Roth had already met once. In fact, after seeing Cabin Fever from 2002, Tarantino put it at the top of his top 10 of 2002 list. Oh, wow. He loved Cabin Fever. I loved Cabin Fever. A lot of people hated that movie, but I thought it was such a different and just fresh taste in the horror genre.
I've seen that movie.
We did an episode of it.
That's with the monsters?
No. Where they're stuck in the cabin with the flesh-eating virus. Okay. Yep.
I remember now. I keep getting that one confused with Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, but it's just the cabin in the title confuses me.
But at the time, at 2002, it was kind of a breath of fresh air with that movie. Oh, yeah. It's so different than what we were getting at the time. I think, what were we getting in 2002? I can't remember right now. 2002, the early 2000s are a blur to me. They mix in with my 90s. But anyway. But yeah, he put that at the top of his list for 2002, and he reached out to Roth in hopes that they could work together on a future project. Now, Eli Roth during this time was getting tons of offers to direct horror remakes, like Last House on the Left, The Fog, one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. He got offers for that, but Quentin Tarantino advised him not to fucking do that. Right. Don't corner yourself, and instead go create something original. Create your own story and do that. And that's how we got Hostel. That's what he did. In fact, while chilling in Tarantino's swimming pool, Eli Roth brainstormed an idea for a horror movie based on an urban legend about a Thai murder vacation website he found on the internet. Oh, wow. Yeah. And Tarantino loved this. And of course, it encouraged Roth to draft it up. And that's how we got Hostel, man, which are two movies that Hostel 1 and 2. I love those movies. A lot of people go into it and they kind of credit for Eli Roth starting the torture porn. Oh, yeah. Horror movies that we started getting like Saw and stuff like that. I don't necessarily agree. Hostel is all about torture, but I don't know. to me, it was visceral and creepy. I don't know who got a kick out of it.
I don't know.
Eli Roth is he's one of my he's a favorite director of mine. I butt so much heads with people because they're like, that guy's a terrible director. I don't know, man. I like it all. Right. Like even The Green Inferno, people hated that movie, but I fucking find that movie beautiful.
I've heard good things about that movie.
It's such a good movie, and I don't understand. I will say, out of the Hostel movies, Hostel is great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to the theater. That was such a different movie. We were not prepared for that movie, me and my friends. That movie scared the shit out of us.
That's awesome.
But Hostel 2 is even better.
Oh, wow.
So good.
Which is hard because
I don't know what it is
the
about
sequel,
that.
It's just not.
Right. And I think it's because Eli Roth, after Hostel, he became an even better filmmaker.
Right.
And so Hostel 2, even though he kind of takes, because Hostel, the one thing that was really appealing for that really made it different was the fact that it was men being murdered and tortured and stuff.
Yeah.
You weren't used to that. You were used to that. And then the second one, he kind of just goes and makes it females again. But still, there's something more bigger in Hostel 2 that I think is it's so underrated.
He probably learned from his mistakes and had different ideas and stuff. Obviously, different movie, but
right. And we probably wouldn't have got that shit if it wasn't for Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
And after that, Eli Roth and Tarantino worked together quite a bit. We saw him in Death Proof. He popped up because I think he was shooting Hostel and came down and shot that scene in one day.
Right.
In Inglorious Bastards, where he plays the bear Jew with the fucking bat beating Nazis, man. That movie,
awesome.
That movie. If you don't get a kick out of fucking Brad Pitt saying, I want my 100 Nazi scalps. And you get to see him get scalped. Like,
oh damn.
Oh, it's good. It's a good movie. So, okay. Over the years, there have been several unrealized films and ideas Tarantino has had. I feel a few have to be just ways of getting people off his back. Because that's constantly what he gets. What's next? What are you doing next? What's your next film? It's so funny. Like, you don't hear that much about from these other directors. You don't hear people question them. More like, well, when are we getting the sequel?
Right.
Or something like that. No, for him, it's like, well, what movie are you doing next? What's the next story and stuff like that? And I think a few of these have got to be that, just stuff he's made up on the fly, because a lot of these sound fucking ridiculous. But here's a list of just a few that I found kind of interesting. All right. So some of these we're not going to go too into. I'm just going to mention titles.
Okay.
We'll discuss when you feel like you want to hop in.
Okay.
But so first of all, the untitled 70s exploitation film that we talked about last episode. He wrote, that was one of the first things he drafted up when Lawrence Bender approached him, told him to draft up a movie.
Oh, yeah.
The first ideas. Like I said, it was just a straight 70s exploitation action movie, and it never got published and was abandoned. So.
Okay, let me confirm. This is what he said that his next movie is going to be?
Not this. I'm just starting off with some unrealized projects.
Okay.
We're about to get into stuff that he's talking about.
Okay.
When people ask him this question, that's kind of what he just rattles on.
Okay, I was just clarifying what list you were reading.
Some things are good ideas, but some things are like, wait, what?
Right.
Now, in the 90s, though, he had mentioned that he was going to do a Luke Cage film, which Luke Cage is a Marvel superhero, which, by the way, I mentioned Quentin Tarantino's a huge Marvel fan.
Right.
And so it would make sense for him to kind of do that. In fact, he was going to cast Lawrence Fishburne as Cage, as Luke Cage. So that would have been pretty cool. Now, Brittany's like, what the fuck is a Luke Cage?
I've heard that name before.
It's Marvel's black superhero.
Yeah.
Good comic if anybody's into Marvel comics. It's one of the few comics I've actually read. Like,
oh yeah.
I always mention that like I'm a comic fan, but not like I don't collect comics or read them.
Right.
I feel like I got too late into the game for that.
Yeah.
Can I get another cigarette?
Yeah.
I'll go get some if you need them for tomorrow.
Yeah, I only have 2, and I'm going to smoke one so I can try to stay awake.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, shit.
I did not realize I had this much to talk about. I'm glad I didn't write that much.
Uh-huh.
All right, next up, a Silver Surfer film.
Oh, God.
That's right. After the success of Reservoir Dogs, Tarantino went to Constantine Films with a completed script for a proposed Silver Surfer. We would eventually get a Silver Surfer film.
Right.
Ironically, with Lawrence Fishburne as Silver Surfer.
That's funny.
Later on. But they passed on the script at the time, which is very interesting. I wonder if they regret that.
Probably.
Now, here's a big one, and here's one that people have talked about for decades. You know, Tarantino fans have always discussed what this might have looked like. But the Vega brothers, Double V Vega, when developing Inglorious Bastards, Tarantino began to consider making the Vega brothers. Now, the film would have starred Michael Madsen as Vic Vega, Mr. Blonde from Reservoir Dogs, and his brother, Vincent Vega from Pulp Fiction, played by John Travolta. Now, this was in 2007, and the problem was these actors had gotten old.
Right.
You know, so to do, they're both dead in the timeline. You know, Mr. Blonde dies in Reservoir Dogs. John Travolta's character dies in Pulp Fiction. So you would have to set this to where they were younger.
Oh, and then they were already, the actors are older, so that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, and the thing, and he even said, you know, well, with their age now, it's kind of unlikely now to even fucking consider doing that. And also, like, because I know some of you might be like, well, why wouldn't he just recast? And it's like, no. Yeah. Do you want?
Why would you do that?
You don't want that.
No.
They did that with Dumb and Dumber when Harry met Lloyd. Remember that when they recast those two characters?
No, but that's stupid. I hate when people do that. We want to see the original actors.
Yeah, just don't.
Don't do it.
And that's one of Quentin Tarantino's things. Like, if it's not going to work out right and it feels wrong, like, you just don't.
Right.
That's what he does. Now, here's some stuff that would have taken off around the Kill Bill time. Now, this is the 2000s that we're in. Now, the Kill Bill video game.
Okay.
They were going to do that. Some demo footage actually got leaked. I remember seeing this online. Like, there was some footage from the gameplay. Like, it looked outstanding, but it kind of just fucking, I don't know. It just got shelved in 2003. Never came to fruition.
Maybe it was too hard to make.
Yeah, maybe. Now, there was a Kill Bill anime film mentioned, a Kill Bill animated film. Anime and animation are two different things.
Right.
And then also, so here's a big one, and here's one that people still talk about, and he still has kind of mentioned that he'd like to do this. So who knows? But Kill Bill Volume 3 and 4.
Oh, God.
Now, he had talked about this during...
I just think once you get past 2, you should just stop. Just stop.
I understand.
You're beating a dead horse at that
Well,
point.
the thing is, it may work. It actually sounds like a cool premise. Now, the premise of that would be that, and originally when he was doing Volume 1 and 2, he said he'd probably do 3 and 4, and it'd be every 10 years he'd do one. But that didn't come to fruition. Now, in 2004, he did say he was planning the sequel. In an Entertainment Weekly interview, he said this. Oh, yeah. Initially, I was thinking this would be my Dollars trilogy. I was going to do a new one every 10 years, but I need at least 15 years before I do this again. By the way, we didn't really mention it too much. I was going to save it for a Kill Bill episode when we do that, but he was tired after doing Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2.
Right.
He got worn out on that story. And he said, but he continues to say, I've already got the whole mythology. Sophie Fatale will get Bill's money. She'll raise Nikki, and who will take on the bride later on. And Nikki deserves her revenge ever so much as the bride deserved hers. And I might even shoot a couple of scenes now and have the actresses while they're young. And he didn't do that.
Right.
But it would have been cool knowing how Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 play out.
Mm-hmm.
And I know those characters I mentioned probably made no sense to you.
No.
I'm sure people who are familiar with Kill Bill will know what I'm talking about. But the daughter of one of the assassins that Uma Thurman kills in Kill Bill would have come of age to hunt her down.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a revenge film for her.
I see.
The premise sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
But that did get shelved. Through the years, he's kept mentioning this. Like in 2009, he mentioned it again. 2012, he said. He said this. I don't know if there's ever going to be a Kill Bill Volume 3. We'll see. Probably not, though. In 2016, Tarantino spoke with Uma Thurman about potentially returning. It's non-committal, and they just kind of spoke about it. Now, in July 2019, he said this. Me and Uma talked about it recently. Frankly, to tell you the truth, I have thought about it a little further. We were talking about it literally last week. If any of my movies are going to spring from my other movies, it would be a third Kill Bill. So that would be the sequel that he would make.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. In December of that year, too, he had spoken to Thurman again about having an idea. And Uma Thurman even said that Tarantino wrote something.
Oh.
Yeah. Now this is the latest news on this. In 2021, June, Tarantino stated that the film would take place 20 years following the original film, with Beatrix Kiddo and her daughter Bibi are forced to go on the run after a period of peace. And he found the idea of casting Uma Thurman and her daughter Maya Hawke kind of interesting, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know, this still might happen. That would be wild if it was his 10th film, you know.
Right.
It'd be interesting. I kind of don't necessarily want that.
I want something new.
Yeah, I want a new original story.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's good at that.
Exactly. Now, okay, here's one. Now, this isn't necessarily something that he said. This is something that he was literally about to do. Now, in the mid-2000s, Tarantino expressed interest in directing Casino Royale. The 2006 film, it would be in a 2006 film adaptation of Ian Fleming's first novel about James Bond.
Okay.
So he wanted to do a James Bond film. Now, Eon Productions had no interest in getting Tarantino for this.
Oh.
So they kind of, I don't know, they just kind of like brushed him off. Tarantino said that he would have said it in 1960s and only made it if Pierce Brosnan would have returned as James Bond. So he wanted Pierce Brosnan back as James Bond. I don't know. That would have been kind of weird. He's kind of old now. But you know, by 2005, Martin Campbell was announced as Casino Royale's director. And of course, we all know Daniel Craig ended up playing the lead role as James Bond for up until this year when his movie came out, his last movie as James Bond. But I think it's interesting to think about that, because it's like, did Tarantino get the ball rolling on that Casino Royale movie?
He might have.
Interesting. Anyway, sorry. Of course, he's also mentioned stuff like Grindhouse 2. Mentioned about coming back with Robert Rodriguez to do another one, but this time like an old school kung fu movie marathons, you know, something like that. But also Edgar Wright and Eli Roth, who directed two of the faux trailers in that movie. Edgar Wright with Don't, and Eli Roth with Thanksgiving.
You keep wanting to say Thanksgiving.
I know, because we covered that movie. That movie's so bug nuts. But
Yes.
but they were talking about maybe making that a Grindhouse sequel, you know, doing their own Grindhouse, which might be interesting if that ever does come to fruition. That might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Of course, he was in talks to do a Westworld remake, which again, I think Quentin Tarantino got the ball rolling on the Westworld TV show we all got. Because in 2007, after the success with Death Proof, kind of success, Warner Brothers did approach, they actually hired him to direct a remake of the 1973 science fiction film Westworld. Now, here's the issue. Arnold Schwarzenegger was involved in the project, and he was going to play like the Yul Brynner role as the robotic gunslinger.
Okay.
But it was announced like after that Tarantino had been fired due to creative differences.
Oh, no.
He specifically, and Warner Brothers has their head so far up their ass because this sounds cool. He wanted to kind of get rid of Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
And he wanted to make it dark. It sounded like he wanted to do a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
So we almost had a Quentin Tarantino horror movie. And I'm like, God, that would have been so good.
That would have been so cool.
Yeah. You know, he's talked about doing a bunch of remakes, Faster Pussycat Kill Kill remake, which another exploitation film.
Yeah.
He's talked about doing he kind of, okay, this isn't really an official talk about that he said, but he said that he wanted to do a Rambo remake.
What the hell?
Yeah, with Adam Driver as Rambo.
Okay, that's weird.
Oh, man.
To each their own, I suppose.
Yep. There was one time he talked about doing a medieval project where like the Queen Elizabeth II or something like that. I think Helen Mirren had been approached by him to play a role where she'd be like a foul-mouthed fucking royal. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Of course, From Dusk Till Dawn was kind of talked about, a fourth From Dusk Till Dawn movie.
Oh, God.
Then at one point, 2011, and this one really like weirded me out, Tarantino talked about doing a children's film.
That's weird.
That is weird. He was like, you know what I could do? And it literally sounds like the best. I mean, that's the idea Disney's been rolling with. But he said, well, all you got to do is just take like something like the Mighty Ducks and just fucking update it. Bring all the actors back and just do a movie. He said you'd have your audience already built in. And I'm like, that's kind of what Disney does. It's an excellent idea.
It seems too simple, though.
That's what Disney does, though, if you think about it. Yes. They just bring their audience they already have pre-built. They don't try to attract much new.
Right. I agree with that.
Of course, Django and White Hell, that was the sequel to Django Unchained, which would ultimately become The Hateful Eight. You know.
Okay.
Oh, I remember he talked about a Django sequel for the longest time before The Hateful Eight came out. I was a little disappointed because I still kind of want to see Jamie Foxx blow away a bunch of slaveholders.
Hell yeah.
That's such a good movie. And of course, one of the biggest ones was he announced in 2017 that he had approached J.J. Abrams and Paramount Pictures to do a Star Trek movie. You know, in 2019. Yeah. it went on into 2021. You know, where they had said that it would revolve around Captain Kirk and his crew, and but it would be taking inspiration from one of the episodes, like where they go to a gangster planet and stuff like that. So it'd be like one of those episode of the week kind of Star Trek episodes, which if you guys are Trekkie fans like I am, you'll know what I'm talking about. Just like where they go to a planet full of like gangsters and they fucking have to deal with that. It would have been a movie version of that. So I think it would have been pretty cool, but he ended up leaving the project. You know, he wanted to, this is weird because you get a lot these days about this because he wanted to do it for a smaller budget, but they didn't want to do that.
That's weird.
Yeah. I
have a film question.
Okay.
I know that's weird, but so say Quentin Tarantino wanted to make another movie, okay, which he is or whatever. Does he have to get funding for that, or can he fund it?
At this point, he could probably fund his own movie.
Right, I figured, but like if he had the money for it and he wanted to, he could, right?
Right.
Okay.
But you're talking about some of these things that he's talking about, like Star Trek. That's an intellectual property that's owned by something else. So he does have to approach like Paramount and J.J. Abrams. And
I understand that, but like a movie that he made, he wanted to do everything, and he could fund that.
At this point, yeah, he definitely could. It'd probably be a smaller budget.
I don't care about that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, he could literally, like, Quentin Tarantino could fucking shoot a movie right now in his backyard.
Okay. I know that, like, people that make new movies and stuff like that, they do that. They fund their own movies.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if there was, like, some kind of rule about big directors doing that.
Right. Not really. There's no rule about that.
They're like, do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
We don't want to.
But you do go through the way you do go through distributors and stuff like that. There's all sorts of little proper channels you got to go through and stuff to really like get a big budget movie out, you know? Right. But anyway, now, of course, I'll go ahead and say, you know, Tarantino, like I said, I mentioned this before in one of our episodes, this series, how like, I think he's one of the best writers who just started writing novels. Yeah. You know, he did the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood adaptation, and that reads so weird, man. It reads like it was a book written a long time ago. Right. Like it reads like he wrote the book first and then made a movie. Right. Like, cause the book expands on everything. And when you read the book, which I have, you're like, wow, he had all this living in his head when he did that movie. Right. This is a lot. Like it is it is a world he built. fleshed out completely. Now, he's talked about one of the other things he is working on called cinema speculation, which is a deep dive into movies of the 1970s, a mix of essays and reviews and personal writings and what ifs, from Quentin Tarantino. And by June 2021, it was nearing completion, so that should be out at any point now. I'm going to buy it.
Okay.
I just to read about him talk about 1970s movies, like that.
Oh yeah, it's a dream for you.
Oh yeah. Now, he's talked about doing Reservoir Dogs as a stage adaptation, doing a novelization like he did with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Reservoir Dogs, doing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as a stage adaptation as well. He's talked about what he'd really like to do is a Western novel. Stuff like that. And of course, the Video Archives podcast show, which him and Roger Avery have been talking about doing, which I will listen to that.
They're going to do it?
Yeah, they're going to do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which, by the way, the podcast is named after the Video Archives, the video rental store that both those guys worked at.
Yeah.
And what they want to do on the podcast is feature directors and guests examining films from the 1970s through the 1990s.
Nice.
So that'll be a very interesting thing. I don't know if this is a thing, but he talked about how he's writing something like he's interviewing Rick Dalton.
Okay.
I think the man has lost his mind. But that sounds very interesting. I don't know what it is. I'll fucking be there.
Right. Whatever it is.
I'll be there. Now, of course, what else can you say, man? What else can you say about this guy?
He made some great movies.
Yeah. And as we enter the end of our series here, yes, Tarantino has mentioned ton of times that he'll retire after 10 films, which means by that statement, he only has one left to go.
Right.
Thing is, he's also said this in other interviews I've heard where he's like, well, people kind of take that and run with it as they will. So, we'll see where I am after.
Right.
But 10 films is a great way to go out on, because typically, and he said this himself, typically directors don't do very good works after 10 films.
Right.
Look at Tobe Hooper. I like them all. I enjoy all Tobe Hooper's movies, but after, that every director hits that weird mark where it's just, ugh.
Right. They
start turning into subpar stuff. Ridley Scott movies, I think he's, they're not that great anymore. It's, but what Tarantino's wanting to do, and what I think is a good idea, is he's wanting to go out on top. End it all there. He said what he really would like to do is write. He wants to do more novels.
Nice.
I think it's a great idea. And he can. That's the crazy part. That's what makes it so speculative. Like, well, if he wants to end it all, he can. It's not going to fucking matter.
Right.
What a career to go out on, man. What a fucking career when you look back on it. And the thing is, he does have one more movie up his sleeve, if we're going by that logic, that he has one more. What do you think that next one will be, man? I really, we're speculating here at the end. I would really, really enjoy to see a horror movie.
That would be fucking awesome.
I would love it. He said if he can come up with a good horror story, because he loves horror movies.
Right. If
he can come up with a good story, he said, he'll do it. And I would kill to see it, because we kind of saw little bits and pieces of that when we saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where Cliff Booth enters the Manson farm, Spawn Ranch.
Right.
Like when he walks into that, it feels like a horror movie. And you're like, ooh, he could really do a good horror movie. So I'd like to see that. I'm surprised he hasn't done one by now.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it would be cool.
I would enjoy that.
A Tarantino horror movie. He could do it for cheap too, man. But, like I said, what else is there to fucking say about this guy? I mean, one of my top favorite directors.
Right.
I feel like I've won Brittany over here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What do you think? So here at the end, let's have a little bit more conversation. What did you think about going into this before you knew anything about Tarantino, before you knew the movies? You kind of knew Pulp Fiction, how could you not?
Right.
You knew of Quentin Tarantino. This isn't like a Howard Hawks or something. It's not like you don't know who I'm talking about or anything like
Right.
that. But how did you feel going into this? Like, what did you feel about this?
I didn't know what to expect. And I really didn't expect to like most of the movies.
Honestly, you shocked me.
Right.
Like, I was like, I don't know if you'll care for Jackie Brown. You know, I was like, I don't know if that's something you'll like.
My cup of tea, but it was. I don't know. He won my heart.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much as he won yours, but
well, these speak to me a little differently than most people. You know,
right.
there's a lot of people that hate Tarantino movies, that can't stand them, and that's fine. You know, it's okay to like a movie, it's okay to hate a movie, but I just watching you appreciate some of the stuff.
Right. And how can you really hate like all of them? Let's start there, because they're all different.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They're all different flavors. Like,
so like, how can you hate all of them?
I consider like Quentin Tarantino movies like the Ben and Jerry's of the film industry, like of directors. You know, he has so many different flavors, but it's all Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
But it's different little flavors and stuff. You can't like dislike every single one. There's got to be something you like here.
You'll find something that you like. You just haven't tried.
Yeah.
So let's get to trying.
Yeah. Watch these things. I think a lot of people who really hate these movies and hate Tarantino, I think they got something stuck in their craw about the man himself. You know, which doesn't make a lot of sense since he's a film nerd who made it big.
Right.
This is what this is. This is what happens when the nerds make it big.
And
like,
what's wrong with that? Are you jealous?
I would assume I'm not jealous.
No, I wasn't saying you.
Oh,
like
I was
the
like-
people that get mad about it. Like, are they jealous of
Maybe,
it?
and because he's at a point in his life now, he can say whatever he wants.
Right.
You know, I think that sticks in people a little bit, you know.
Well,
But
you have to get over it.
now, according to his wife, you know, they live a normal life. She's like, you know, there's nothing's weird. It's just normal stuff.
He rubs her feet a lot.
I'm sure he does. She probably can count on that foot rub. No tickling. But so how do you feel going forward? You excited about seeing new Tarantino movies at some point?
Oh, new Tarantino movies? Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about going forward here in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I am excited. I will watch whatever he makes. And
well, that's what I said about you. There was one thing you said that really stuck with me that I was like, that's kind of cool. Because you were like, well, I don't like war movies. I don't like kung fu movies. But I'll watch it because it's Tarantino.
Right.
That's an interesting.
I'll give it a chance.
That's what I mean by I appreciate him so much as this person who can turn people on to a genre that they might not be big on, that they might not care for.
But the thing is, it's more than a kung fu movie. It's more than a movie about Sharon Tate. Like, it's just more. I don't know how to explain it.
Honestly, like all these movies in their basis form, like I said, he's a big film buff who made it big with his own movies, who did his own works and stuff like that. And when you look at all these, you kind of strip them away. They really are. They're just bursting at the seams with love of just movies.
Right.
It's just, there's so much love into each one of these fucking movies, you know?
Oh, yeah. You can definitely tell.
Yeah, to the point where when people are like, he never has love stories in his movies, which we kind of called bullshit on that early on. But when you look at these, it's like, yeah, it's kind of there. It's just not with people. Like, there is a love story between a person and a movie.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he loves these things. Like, and I appreciate it so much because his amount of love for movies is kind of equal to mine, I feel like. That's why I connect with this director so much.
You guys would be best friends, I think.
I'm pretty sure. If I could just get him going about movies. Oh, man, the conversations.
If you could get him on an interview, oh, God.
Oh, damn. We could, that'd be so much fun.
It'd be a 16-hour long.
Because he kind of does, like, if you listen to the interviews with him, he kind of does what I do, where he just goes off on these tangents.
Right.
Like, I was watching an interview where he's talking about this actress with the last name Sykes, and he was like, she has no relations to Wanda Sykes, is she? No, she couldn't be, because she'd be the same. It just goes off. He's like, well, hang on, let me get back.
He's like, no, hold on, I'm going off here.
It's just a love affair of movies, man. And I think a lot of people appreciate these because a lot of people do love movies. And I think when you love everything so much, and when somebody puts all of the things you love into one art form, like that's really something special.
Right.
So that's why we did Quentin Tarantino. Plus, man, we didn't have a lick of Christmas this fucking year. I loved it.
It was awesome.
It was a great break from Christmas. We needed that. Next year, I swear to God, people, I'll do horror movies for Christmas. Maybe. Maybe.
That's a long time.
I swear we'll do some horror Christmas movies, I guess. Some Jack Frost. That one's pretty good. and we will get back to the horror in February. I promise. We are getting back to horror movies exclusively.
Thank God. I'm happy about that.
Yeah. Well, it's lovely how we do this.
Yes.
We wear you out on one thing, and then we go to something else, and you get a little bit boost of excitement. But next week, by the way, that ends our miniseries on Tarantino. But next week, it's a torturous episode. Brittany, I don't know. I think this is the closest you've come to divorcing her.
I think so.
I made Brittany sit down and watch Sergio Leone's classic, probably one of the best movies ever made.
Not true.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, man. It's fucking Clint Eastwood. Fucking.
What's so special about
Ennio
him?
Morricone with the score. Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a presence, man. Clint Eastwood is the last one of these actors alive, actually. Dude's old as sin. But he's the last one of these actors who doesn't really have to do anything. He just shows up with his presence. And there you go.
I'm over it already.
But we will talk, and that episode's going to be beefy as fuck. We will talk about that, the almost over 3 hour epic spaghetti western that is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly from 1967. Now, until next time, I'm Lee Evans saying stay spooky.
And I'm Brittany. Stay horrific.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. To get a hold of us and submit your stories, fan mail, and death threats, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and nightofthehorrorfile.com. Our theme song was written and performed by John Brennan, used with permission. Find John at shopjb.bandcamp.com and at badtechno.com. If you like what you hear, leave a good review wherever you listen to podcasts, and share the show on your social media. See you next week.